Beautiful day in Toronto. It's 23 degrees. The roof is wide open on a beautiful cloudy day. Buck Martinez, Pat Tamba, and Arash Madani. We're glad you're with us on this holiday Monday. Cleveland Indians are in town. It's a 4-game series. The Indians have fallen on hard times. They are 51-51, and they are really falling on hard times because today they're going to face Robbie Ray. And Robbie Ray has been dealing lately, coming off a great outing against the Red Sox at Fenway Park. Here's the lineup as DeMarlo Hale is the acting manager for the Cleveland Indians. Straw, Rosario, and Ramirez, and then Franmil Reyes, who has missed a lot of time this season with a little bleak injury, but his last 11 games he's been swinging it. 5 home runs, 11 RBIs in those 11 games, and an OPS just under 1. Ramirez, the former Blue Jay, in left field. Mercado, Miller, Hedges, and Clement to round out the Indians lineup, and they're set to take on Robbie Ray, making his first start against the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah, 21st start of the season, first here at Rogers Center as a Blue Jay. Sparkling numbers for Robbie. Opponents hitting just .215 against him. He's got that ERA down to 3.04. You mentioned that last start against the Boston Red Sox. It was a 7-inning game because it was game 1 of a doubleheader. Robbie pitched 6 of those and only gave up 1 earned run in that. Early on, he had some trouble with base runners, but he pitched out of it. The second inning, he had the bases loaded, nobody out, got out of that, and really just cruised on in from there. He really used his changeup in that start very effectively. His slider's been coming along also. So Blue Jays have an ace today going in game 1 of this big 4-game series, hoping to get off on a good note. Defensively for the Blue Jays, airless baseball over the weekend versus Kansas City. Here's how they'll line up: Teoscar Hernandez in left field, Springer and Randall Grichuk in the outfield. Santiago Espinal, what can you say about him defensively? He's been outstanding at third base. Shortstop today, Bo Bichette's DHing, so Marcus Semien will do the honors over there. For Marcus, his 10th start at shortstop this season. Blue Jays don't lose anything defensively wherever that man's playing right there, either at second base or at shortstop. He gets the start today with Bo DHing.
So Semien has been a terrific acquisition. Robbie Ray is set. He'll be working with Alejandro Kirk. Here's the first pitch of the game. Is cut on and driven into center. Miles Straw lifts a lazy fly ball into center. George Springer is there. 1 pitch, 1 out for Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray, as we mentioned, making his first start against the Cleveland Indians. He actually had 1 appearance. That was way back in 2014 in September of his rookie season, pitching out of the bullpen for the Detroit Tigers. He has been a terrific pitcher and a great addition to this Blue Jays rotation going back to last season. Here's Amed Rosario. In 95 games this season, he's at .267. He takes a first pitch strike right at the knees.
Yeah, use that fastball, which he always does. That 6 innings that Robbie pitched in, he averaged about 18 pitches per inning in that start, but found his way out of a lot of trouble.
This is going to be extra base as 2 hops the wall in left field. His Rosario is around first, and he has a stand-up double with 1 out. His 17th double of the season, and the Indians have an extra base hit here in the first.
They've had their problems scoring runs this year. They're not the same team like we saw a few seasons ago. No Francisco Lindor. I know some of the other big bats that we have seen before, but Rosario is a big leaguer. Came over from the Mets. Good start to his afternoon with that double to left field.
You mentioned the fall off offensively. Cleveland has the 3rd biggest drop in runs per game from June to July, and here's their best player, Jose Ramirez, a switch hitter batting right-handed against Robbie Ray. This is the first time that he has faced Robbie Ray. When Ramirez hits, the Indians win. If you can shut him out, you've got a good chance of beating this ball club. He's the guy that makes everything happen for Cleveland. Here's the 1-0 pitch, bouncing ball foul, just wide of third.
He's had a lot of big hits against the Blue Jays in his career. Big hits, walk-off hits, walk-off home runs. You know, just a .286 career batting average, but lots of production from this young man.
He's one of 3 players that are still with Cleveland going back to the 2016 playoffs that they faced the Blue Jays. Another breaking ball fouled off at home plate. The Blue Jays don't have any players on their roster from 2016 in the postseason. Jose Ramirez, Roberto Perez, the catcher, and Brian Shaw, who left and came back to Cleveland. They all participated in that 2016 championship series. John Schneider, the bench coach, and Charlie, there's a line drive down the left field line. That's going to hook foul up against the screen.
When Robbie got in trouble in that last outing against Boston, he was able to dial it up a little bit more and use that fastball very effectively. But he said he threw some more change-ups than he normally does. Said his slider was really good. Said, you know, I willed my way through that game, and he's right. You know, he had some tough times, but he was able to make pitches when he had to. He's going to have to make a pitch here against this hitter. If you walk him, that's okay.
Lays out that high fastball. Ramirez been in a little bit of a funk lately. He's hit just 183 over his last 17 games and has 16 strikeouts in those 17 games. But you can see his numbers. The 5th all-time highest career slugging percentage. And that's an impressive list of switch hitters. He's 5th all-time. 2-2 pitch. Runner at second. And Robbie Ray, I don't think he was comfortable with the pitch selection. Just kind of spun around and it's going to regroup a bit.
Yeah, when Robbie pitched last time, he worked with Alejandro Kirk, and they worked really well. It took him a couple of innings. Again, Robbie left 4 runners on base the first 2 innings. Then they got together and started working really well.
Ball is fouled on a check swing. We mentioned Ramirez and the slugging percentage by a switch hitter, 5th all time. Mickey Mantle, Lance Berkman, Chipper Jones, and Mark Teixeira, the only switch hitters with a higher slugging percentage than Jose Ramirez. 2-2 pitch. Ball down. In the dirt, it's a full count, and I agree with you, Pat. If you walk him, it's not a big deal. You got a base open at first.
Yeah, you want to get off to a good start, and you want to keep the pitch count down. Yes, that's true, but you don't want to fall behind early, put the pressure on the offense. You've got first base open. What you want to do here, you want to make Ramirez hit your pitch. And if you walk him, that's okay.
They got him to pop up behind home plate, but that's over the screen into the seats and out of play. He threw him a slider, and you know, Ramirez, we mentioned his average when he's in winning games, he's hit 295, and losing games just 203. So you shut him out, you have a good chance to beat them. DeMarlo Hale, as we mentioned, is the interim manager as Terry Francona has stepped away from the ball club for the rest of the season to take care of some health issues. Another 3-2 pitch. Foul chip, and it bounced in the dirt, and Ramirez stays alive.
Tough to strike him out. A switch hitter, he hits the ball wherever it's pitched, and it seems like he turns it on when there's runners on. He's hitting 100 points higher with runners on than nobody on is Ramirez. So he really likes it when he's got a chance to drive in some runs.
Bouncing ball, what a play by Espinal. Can he throw him out? Not in time. He had a little bit of trouble after he grabbed it initially. Getting his balance, it looked like he struggled to find the baseball in the webbing of his glove, and Ramirez is aboard with an infield single.
Players are so fast nowadays. That ball was hit pretty hard. It got to Espinal quickly. You're right, he stumbled just a minute, but that shouldn't be a problem coming out of the right-handed batter's box. You should still be able to get that runner, but Ramirez is so fast. Seems like everybody's fast nowadays. You have to be perfect to get these guys out. But Espinal did everything he could to try and get him. He kept the ball in the infield, and now there's a couple of runners on base.
Franmil Reyes, the DH, will step in. Reyes missed significant time with an oblique injuries, playing in just his 62nd game of the season. Still putting up big numbers, 20 homers and 51 RBIs. There go the runner, and the ball is grounded, and they stay out of a double play. DeMarlo Hale put the runners in motion, and that keeps them out of an inning-ending double play. All they can get is the runner at first base, so the runners move up now. It's second and third with 2 outs.
Talk about knowing your ball club. He sends the runners. Yeah, you're right. This is an inning-ending double play. But DeMarlo knows his runners on base. He knows his hitter. Picks the right time to start those runners. Stays out of the double play, and now base hit. The Blue Jays are going to be behind. That's gambling and making it work out.
So this is Harold Ramirez, a former Blue Jay minor leaguer. Started out with the Pirates, came over to Pittsburgh along with Reese McGuire in the trade along with Francisco Liriano for Drew Hutchison. He played with a lot of these Blue Jays in 2018 in Double-A on that championship team in the Eastern League. He gets beat by that fastball at 96, top of the zone. It's 0-2.
Yeah, that's where you want to get him right there. Up, up, up. Just keep going up when you want to, and then bury that slider down, and you should get a strikeout. Didn't he win a batting title also when he was in the minor leagues with the Blue Jays? At one time was a big prospect.
He has played with Miami and now with Cleveland. Another fastball that missed inside. It's 1-2. Ramirez is just 26 years old. He's from Cartagena, Colombia. And he started out in the Pirates organization as a 17-year-old in 2012. Spent parts of 3 seasons in Double-A New Hampshire. Played for John Schneider. Ground ball back as Robbie Ray knocks it down, and Ramirez is in a heap at home plate as he fell on the swing, and an inning-ending play as the Indians strand a pair. No score after a half inning at Rogers Center. The Blue Jays have won 4 in a row, including a 3-game sweep of the Royals over the weekend, and they're 54-48. Springer right at the top of the order. Boy, he has enjoyed his time at Rogers Center. 6 for 11 in the 3 games over the weekend. 3 doubles, 2 home runs, and 5 RBIs. And Springer looks more like Springer now the more bats he gets. Guerrero's back at first base. Simeon is at short. Bo's the DH today. Hernandez, Grichuk, Espinal, Alejandro Kirk, and Cavan Biggio round out the lineup for Charlie Montoyo.
They get their second shot at Eli Morgan. Morgan, 25 years old. This is his 8th major league appearance. His first one was against the Blue Jays back in May, and it didn't go really well for him. He gave a home run to Joe Panik, got knocked around a little bit. He's been up and down this season. Just called right back up a couple of weeks ago to get this start as they went to a 5-man rotation.
Yeah, this is his first time back after they just moved to 4. They didn't need 5 for a while. George Springer takes the first pitch for a ball. Springer for the season, 11 homers, 22 RBIs. There's a changeup, and that's Morgan's bread and butter. He has to get that changeup into the mix to be effective this afternoon.
Yeah, fastball, slider mainly, but changeup a lot. In his last start, he used it almost 25% of the time. Quarter of the time, he's going to use that changeup. So you can go up there and look for it if you want.
The fastball is fouled back. It is 1-2 on Springer. Morgan was drafted out of Gonzaga, out in Oregon, an 8th-round pick in 2017. And as Pat mentioned, he made his debut against the Blue Jays. He didn't have a very good spring. He had arm fatigue. He was kept down in extended spring training. It didn't break spring training until AAA season opened up first week of May. 1-2 pitch. Check swing on a slider, and Springer fouls it off to stay alive.
He's going to have to rely on deception and control and changing speeds. If he doesn't hit his spot, first time through the lineup, he was pretty good against the Blue Jays. Then it all fell apart for him. If he starts throwing that ball in the middle of the plate, watch out.
There's the great changeup, swing and a miss by Springer. A strikeout for Morgan. 77-mile-an-hour changeup, and Morgan gets the strikeout, 1 down. Vladdy Guerrero played all 60 games last year. Played 101 of these games this year, all the games until yesterday, and then he got the day off. He has truly been a terrific player all season long, certainly in the MVP conversation. That pitch is up and in for ball 1. But Vladdy, he was having some fun yesterday on the bench, really relaxed, got to kick back for first time and take his game face off. He's enjoying an 8-game hit streak, 11 for 32. There's a liner into center, and that's going to get down in front of Miles Straw. So just like that, Vladdy Guerrero extends his hit streak to 9 in a row.
Charlie Montoya's always talking with his players and said, you know, I'm always communicating with them. Hey, do you need some time? I want to make sure that you are okay as we push for the playoffs, and that's why Vladdy got the day off yesterday. He wasn't, he didn't start. He was available. I said, you know what, he's slowing down just a little bit. Let's give him a day off. It certainly helped right there as he gets his first hit this afternoon.
And here's Marcus Semien. Marcus has done a terrific job since he has become a Blue Jay. This is his first season with the new team. He has the most hits by a player on a new team in 2021. He has 113 hits. Bouncing ball to third. Ramirez to second for 1. Return throw not in time. Ramirez had to give ground. Didn't get much on the throw, and all they could do is get that lead runner at second.
So I mean, again, guys are just too fast nowadays. It almost has to be a one-hopper to the middle of the diamond to the shortstop or the second baseman to turn 2. This one hit. Semien's way too fast, and he's going to keep the inning alive by legging this one out. Slow roller to third. He beats it easily.
Yeah, you're right. The athleticism across the field on both sides of this game. Everybody can run. There's an awful lot of speed in the game today. Here's Bo Bichette. He's the DH this afternoon. Bo has had some season. First All-Star game, of course. He's really done a great job. Over his last 28 games, he's hitting .349. Got his average up to .295. Breaking ball into dirt. Good job by Perez, the catcher. Austin Hedges, excuse me. Hedges is catching tonight, this afternoon. Perez is their other catcher. Austin Hedges came over from San Diego. There are the numbers for Morgan. Back on May 28th, he lasted just 2 2/3 in his major league debut. And as Pat mentioned, Joe Panik hit a home run off of him.
Yeah, it had all kind of problem. If I recall, it was a brutal day there in Cleveland. Also windy and cold. Ryu outpitched him, and Blue Jays finally figured him out. Knocked him out in the third inning.
You know, it was a brutal cold day, and Ryu, a guy that relies so much on touch and feel, was remarkable in his bad conditions. But you're right, that was a bad day. And then you remember that game ended early, and then they got rained out the next day and played a doubleheader on Sunday. It was the final weekend of May. Bo takes one downstairs. It's 3-1 on the DH.
You know, I'm starting the runner here. Bo's been hitting the ball really well lately. Marcus Semien can run a little bit. 3-1. I'm taking a chance he throws me a strike, and with Marcus running, he can score on an extra base hit easily.
Marcus is not running. The ball's hit in the air. Miles Straw, a terrific defender, has an easy play in center. So we've played an inning in Rogers Center, no score. Both teams.
Top of the second, beautiful day in downtown Toronto. You know, he has emerged as the go-to starter in the Blue Jays rotation. Turnaround year, career season, and it's come at the age of 29 for Robbie Ray, who is about to hit free agency. I asked the Blue Jays GM if there have been any talks on an extension. Ross Atkins wouldn't go there, so I approached Ray, asked him what matters to him when it comes to his future and the contract, and Ray is locked in to the now. He told me, quote, "The biggest thing I'm focused on is this year. Everything else will fall into place the way it needs to." He said, "This team is great. I'm excited to see what we can do down the stretch. I honestly do believe we will make a real fun playoff push." Ray said, "This team is built to do that. That's my main focus right now." Buck, Tabby, there is a payday coming for Ray, but he is dialed in to the task at hand right now as we go into the first week of August.
Well, Arash and Robbie Ray understands, hey, if he keeps doing what he's doing, everything will take care of itself, because he has been one of the best pitchers in all of baseball this season. There's a nasty slider cut on a miss by Oscar Mercado. Mercado is playing in right field, and you can see he's got limited at bats, just 25 games this season. But Robbie Ray, and he's wise, just focus on what you're doing and continue to do that. And there's going to be a very nice payday for you at the end of this season. Found out of play at 96. Ray has turned his career around because he's limited his walks, Pat, and he's always had the ability to strike out people, but boy, cutting down the walks has been a huge improvement for Robbie Ray.
Trusting your stuff. Hey, your stuff's pretty good when you throw like he does and throw it over the plate. You're going to get lots of outs. You know, and one other point about that, Buck, you hear it nowadays all the time, but it's so true. Control the things that you can control. He can control what he does between the white lines. Just do that, and everything else will work itself out. And he's done that. When he is on the mound, he has been able to control and produce.
Now the Blue Jays have a lot of players that are on the final year of control. They're going to be free agents after this season. There's a slider pulled foul, and I think the organization, Ross Atkins talked to Arash about this, and looks like DeMarlo got something in his eye getting attended to. But you know what? They had to get through the trade deadline. They acquired some players, improved their ball club, and now I'm sure at some point in the second half they'll start to consider their options as far as extending people. Upstairs for a ball. It's a full count to Mercado.
Yeah, now's not the time to be talking contracts. Now's the time to start thinking about winning baseball games, doing what you need to do to help the team win. You worry about all that stuff in the off season. You got to think about how you're going to beat the Indians today.
There's a slider. That's a fair ball. Santiago, long throw right on the money. One down. Robbie Ray, we mentioned what a good season he's put together, and when you look at the American League ERA leaders, Robbie Ray has really done a terrific job in dropping that ERA. Lance Lynn of the White Sox, Kyle Gibson, he's got a 287, and Sean Manaea of Oakland. Robbie Ray at 304 is fourth, ahead of Garrett Cole and a couple ahead of Hyunjin Ryu. So the Blue Jays have two of the top 6 ERAs in the American League. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, and Kyle Gibson's not even in the American League anymore. He's over at Philadelphia, and you've got Jose Barrios just outside that group right there. So they've got legitimate guys that can pitch and play, and they could win. This is how you put winning streaks together, when you get great starting pitching.
And the Blue Jays have won 4 in a row, trying to match their season high with a win today. Owen Miller, the first baseman, he has played all over the diamond, all the infield positions this season. And this offense, we mentioned this offense has really struggled from June to July. They have averaged a full run less per game. And there's a fastball outside. It's 2 balls and a strike. DeMarlo Hale was with the Blue Jays a long time, and he has coached for 19 seasons in the major leagues. He has taken over for Terry Francona. He and Francona very close, having worked together in Boston and here in Cleveland. And now he's the interim manager. Outside, 3-1 now.
Robbie battling himself just a little bit right now. It's a lot like the Boston outing the last time. I mean, he gutted his way through those 6 innings and battled and made pitches when he had to. You hear him grunting on every pitch. That's him. He's all in on every pitch. Whatever he needs to do to get through that inning.
Yeah, and you know what? The starting pitchers, they make 32 to 34 starts a season, and you go out there with everything working together, maybe 6 or 7 times a season. Pete Walker knows that. There's a slider pulled foul outside of third. This is the 21st start for Robbie Ray, and looks like Gurriel had to do a little moving around there to avoid the impact of that foul ball. Maybe he protected Arash Madani down there in that camera well.
Rash appreciates that, I'm sure. There he is.
There's ball 4. Robbie Ray thought it might have been a strike. It'll be a 1-out walk.
Step up to the plate and take on any DIY project. At Home Hardware Building Centers, we have everything to build anything. Here's how.
Beautiful afternoon in Toronto. It's a holiday Monday. First of 4 games against Cleveland and then 4 more against the Red Sox over the weekend. This is the catcher, Austin Hedges. He has faced Robbie Ray quite a bit in his career. Hedges having played in San Diego, and Ray, majority of his career spent in Arizona. But Hedges just 1 for 20 against Robbie Ray. So he knows this is not a easy at bat. 54 career home runs for Hedges. There's a toss to first base. Hedges has done the majority of the catching this year with Roberto Perez out for quite a while. He had a broken finger. He's just recently back to the active roster. Hedges catching the 51st start of the season for him. There's a good slider swung on and missed by Hedges.
That's a good sign right there. Try to get locked in with that slider. He's been missing glove side with that fastball, especially into righties, just off a little bit. You know, he'll work and he'll get that thing in the strike zone, but that last slider, that's encouraging.
Fastball missed inside. It's 2 balls and a strike to the Indians catcher. Yeah, Robbie Ray is never going to be a guy that's got pinpoint control. He's a power pitcher, and power pitchers will take a while to get zeroed in on the strike zone. And you can hear, I mean, every pitch he grunts and puts full effort into everything he does. Here's a 2-1. Called strike right at the knees with the fastball. 2-2 now.
One thing that might be difficult to accomplish is strikeouts for Robbie this afternoon. The Cleveland Indians, they don't strike out. 4th least strikeouts in the American League. They like to put the bat on the ball. So have some quick innings, get some ground balls on 1 or 2 pitches. Don't worry too much about those strikeouts because it's a team that doesn't strike out that much.
Good stop by Alejandro Kirk to keep the double play in order. Well, we have seen Cleveland start to runner. They started the runner in the first inning and stay out of a double play. Let's see if they do it here with 1 out. Owen Miller at first base. Not running. Ball is driven in the air, but not deep. Springer is right there, almost in his tracks, and he makes the catch. Miller retreats to first. Robbie Ray has 2 down here in the second.
Bottom of this lineup, there's not a lot of power, not a lot of high averages. I think that's where he could really, you know, zero in and challenge him with fastballs in the middle of the plate and feel pretty confident that he's not going to hurt with the home run. This is where you really want to do some damage and knock the bat out of these guys' hands at the bottom of this lineup.
Ernie Clement, the second baseman. Cesar Hernandez, he was traded to Chicago, to White Sox, and there's a little comebacker. Easy play for Ray, and he pitches around a one-out walk. Cleveland strands a base runner here in the second. No score as we head to the bottom of the second. Hernandez, Grichuk, and Espinal for the Blue Jays. Single game tickets for the next 2 homestands go on sale Thursday, August 5th at 10 a.m. Watch your Blue Jays take on the Detroit Tigers, Chicago White Sox, Baltimore Orioles, and the Oakland A's. Visit BlueJays.com for tickets. Great to see people at the ballpark at Rogers Center. This is the 4th game since the Blue Jays have returned home, and they have won the 3 previous games and are looking to match their season high with a 5th straight win. Oscar Hernandez takes the first pitch, strike from Eli Morgan. Teoscar hitting .291 for the season, 16 homers and 63 RBIs. I think all of these hitters love the fact they are back at Rogers Center. Pat, characterize this ballpark from a hitter's perspective. What's so good about hitting in this ballpark?
I love the background. The background's a very good hitter's background. It always seems to be dark. You can see it here at this 3 o'clock start, so you can pick the ball up very, very quickly. There seems to be a jet stream really shooting out to left center and right center as Teoscar comes up empty on that breaking ball away. And I just think with the speed of the turf, I think that can help you with extra base hits. So it is truly a good hitter's ballpark.
That's very fair in every direction, and if you're a good hitter, you hit the ball on the button, it'll go out anywhere in the ballpark. Here's Randal Grichuk. He was 2 for 2 against Morgan in that previous start down in Dunedin. He takes a curveball down and away for ball 1. .19 homers, 67 RBIs. Check swing roller up the first baseline, foul. Randall, .246 hitter at this ballpark. He's got 37 home runs. That's the most among active Blue Jays players at Rogers Center. He leads with 37 homers and 87 RBIs. Pops this one up. Behind home plate, Hedges in foul ground makes the catch. 2 down. That'll bring Santiago Espinal to the plate, and boy, what a nice addition he has been to this organization. A couple of years ago, he was traded to the Blue Jays from Boston, and he has made the most of his time this year.
Did a real nice job last year in very limited action for the Blue Jays. This season's first 30 games, the bat wasn't coming around or the OPS, but in his last 30, man, has it ever. Nearly a 400 hitter with a 991 OPS. He's driving the ball. He's aggressive at the plate. He's not waiting around trying to work walks or anything. He's being a dangerous hitter, being very aggressive early in the count. And, you know, you hit, Charlie Montoyo is going to find a way to get you in the lineup a little bit more regularly.
Ground ball pulled right to Ramirez at third. Blue Jays go down in order, 1, 2, 3 in the second. 2 in the books here at Rogers Center, no score. Championships are won on the strength of your starting pitching, and the Blue Jays starting 4 have been terrific over their last 9 starts. Pat, they have all been on a pretty impressive run.
Yeah, think about pitching in the American League and then the American League East with the DH and all those thumping lineups, and look at these numbers that these 4 pitchers, these 4 starters have done for the Blue Jays. Just impressive. Last 9 starts for each one of them. We go back 9 because that's how many Alek Manoah has had, a 247 earned run average for the big man. You know, and then you throw in Ross Stripling, who has done well this year, and Steven Matz. He's starting to round into form. Now you've got 6 guys that you can count on and help you win ball games, I think, night in and night out. 6 of them. And they're going to need them all, I think, through this stretch. They got a lot of games coming up.
Doubleheader on Saturday against Boston. And there's a line drive over the shortstop's glove into left field off the bat of Myles Straw. Straw, the leadoff man, has just come over from Houston as he was the everyday center fielder for the Astros.
Yeah, it'd be nice to keep him off the bases because he can really run. He's a stolen base threat over at first base. He hit the first pitch he saw his first at bat and flew out. That was the second one. So he's not wasting any time. He's ready to go up there swinging. Wouldn't surprise me if he took
17,
off.
17 steals, and Robbie Ray's aware of that. Straw was picked up at the trade deadline in a trade from the Houston Astros. He was their everyday center fielder, and many people characterize him as the best defensive center fielder in the major leagues. He almost took an extra step too far as Ray came right back at him at first.
Trying to get him off balance, getting off the base, and what he can do now is really vary his times to home plate, really mess up the timing of that runner.
And that's how you diffuse a running opportunity. Throw first pitch strikes to the batter. Cuts down the number of pitches the runner at first has. As Robbie Ray jumps ahead of Rosario. Ground ball and gloved by Biggio, but he couldn't come out of the glove with it cleanly. It looked like Robbie Ray kicked at it. I don't know if he slowed it down at all. Cavan got to it, but he went into his glove and couldn't find the handle.
Yeah, if they did, it would probably be an unbelievable double play. They are shading him in the middle. It didn't look like Robbie got a hold of it, but as Cavan went to spin, grab the ball out of his glove to shovel it over to Marcus Semien, he comes up empty. So that'll be an infield hit. Good start for the Indians here in the third.
And here is their big gun, Jose Ramirez, with 2 on and nobody out. And he goes after that slider. First pitch swinging, and Ramirez chased the pitch. He doesn't swing an awful lot at the first pitches. He's one of the more patient hitters. But in that situation with 2 aboard, nobody out, he went hacking at that first pitch. No score, third inning. Straw led it off with a single. Rosario right behind him had an infield single. 2 on and nobody out. There goes the runners again, and we talk about Straw. That's stolen base number 18 for Myles Straw. And Rosario followed him into second. A double steal here with nobody out.
That is the Indians' game. Again, they don't have the power like they used to. Big lead at second and at first base. No chance for Alejandro Kirk to get either one of them. Almost a running start for Myles Straw at second base. Though now, nobody out and a couple runners in scoring position.
Ramirez fouls it back. I think DeMarlo Hale showed his hand immediately. And I think he's telling them, hey, we're going to go on contact here. But he started the runners in the first inning with 1 out. And there's no reason for Cleveland to be conservative. Like you say, they don't have many big bats in their lineup. They got to push the offense. 1-2. Ray needs a strikeout. Pop up on the infield. Marcus Semien, the shortstop, right on the edge of the dirt, makes the catch. That's a huge out, retiring Jose Ramirez.
Their best hitter, you know, you're right. What do you have to lose when you're 51-51? You can do anything you want just to try to get that offense kickstart a little bit. Stolen base, Ramirez, their best batter, upset with himself that he was a little bit too aggressive right there to pop it up. So, yeah, what do you have to lose if you're DeMarlo Hale? Just play the game the right way, play it aggressively, and see what happens.
They have lost 2 of their big starting pitchers in Shane Bieber and Aaron Savali, and they lost their right fielder, Canadian Josh Naylor, back in June on a horrific injury out in the outfield, so they have been hurt by injuries as well. Franmil Reyes takes a slider for ball 1. Josh Naylor had taken over the everyday job in right field, and then he had a collision with the second baseman and fractured his ankle, had surgery. He's done for the season. No score. Indians threatening again here in the third. Bottom of the zone and missed downstairs. It's 2-0. This is the same type of situation Ray experienced against the Red Sox at Fenway.
Yeah, that one came in the second inning. He had the bases loaded, nobody out, and he was able to. He was pitching towards the bottom of the lineup in that game, a little bit differently, but he got a couple of strikeouts and then a fly ball out to get out of that inning. I wouldn't give this guy a strike right here. I'd put him on. Just put him on and take my chances with Harold Ramirez, the guy behind him. This guy's got some power. 20 home runs. You know DeMarlo is going to be giving him the green light here, 3-0. So just put him on.
I agree with you 100%. I might even intentionally walk him. But he's going to be anxious to cash in these two base runners. He might chase a borderline pitch, but I certainly wouldn't give him much to hit in this situation. And he threw him a slider. That's not a bad walk at all. So now you've set up a double play situation. You saw Kirk tell Robbie Ray, hey, come back to you, you're coming to me. Start that 1-2-3 double play. And the Blue Jays will play the infield at double play depth. And Harold Ramirez, who hit a comebacker to the mound in the first inning, and then he fell down in his follow through, and that ended the first. So 1 out, the bases are loaded. Kirk out to have a chat with the pitcher. Tough situation. Robbie Ray has thrown a lot of pitches early in this game, but he's still keeping the Indians off the scoreboard, and a double play will get him out of this inning as well.
That's what he's looking for. Something on the ground, right at somebody. And that would be just like that last start against Boston.
And Ramirez goes after a borderline pitch, probably a ball. It was a slider down and away, and he took advantage of the aggressiveness of Ramirez. Oh, 0-2, fouled off the catcher's shin guard. So Robbie Ray really in the driver's seat now, and the umpire Dan Bellino is going to give the catcher a little time to regroup as he walks the baseball out to Robbie Ray. Alejandro Kirk got hit on the left shin guard with that foul, and now Robbie Ray really has to take charge of this at bat. He's ahead 0-2 with the bases loaded in this scoreless game.
Right off the knee as Kirk goes down to that one knee to catch that ball. That foul ball went right off of his knee. Yeah, he had the shin guard on, but that still stings. Talk about how to pitch to him. Expand. I mean, really expand here. See if he'll go and fish for something.
They threw him that hard slider at 90 miles an hour and bounced it in the dirt. Kirk trying to decoy the runner at second by holding a high target all along, knowing that he'd called the slider. 1-2. They get bat early in this game. Straw, Rosario, and Reyes on the bases. 1 out. Foul out of play down the right side, and that's going to hit on the warning track and bounce up against the netting.
Yeah, a little bit higher there. They had the right pitch called right there after that slider in the dirt. High fastball to try and get a swing and miss, but he just didn't get it up high enough. I think you can go around the shoulders right here and feel pretty good about yourself getting an out.
Another high fastball popped over the Indians' dugout and out of play. It'll remain 2-1. Cleveland has Forced Robbie Ray into 56 pitches with just one out here in the third. They have 4 hits and 2 base on balls. Another foul, tough pitch by Ray, and Ramirez got to it and fouled it off. A slider down and in.
And no strikeouts. That's the thing. He's working through his second time through the lineup. He hasn't had a strikeout yet today. He's had some big strikeout games for the Blue Jays. I told you this Indians team, they like to make contact. The Blue Jays, the Astros, and the Royals are the only teams in the American League who struck out fewer than Cleveland.
Popped up behind home, but over the screen, and that'll be back into the seats. Ramirez is putting up quite a battle here.
Robbie had a start back in June in Baltimore, if you remember. This is a lot like that start. 4 1/3 innings. He only had 5 strikeouts. Just 2 walks, 2 earned runs, but he threw over 100 pitches. Baltimore kept fouling off some tough pitches, exactly like what Cleveland's doing to him this afternoon.
This is the 8th pitch of this at bat. Inside. 2-2 now. He missed with a fastball about letter high. So Ramirez showing a lot of patience. He had a wild swing in the first pitch of the at bat when he chased the slider down and away, and since then he's tightened things up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Line drive, base hit to right field. That'll score 1 for sure. Grichuk comes up throwing. Here's the throw to the plate, and they got him. What a nice throw by Randal Grichuk. Good tag by Kirk at home. As Rosario is gunned down at the plate. Straw comes in from third to score. Grichuk picks up his first outfield assist with a terrific throw to the plate to nail Rosario.
Yeah, and everybody's looking to see if the umpires are going to take a look at it. Cleveland's trying to figure it out. They went inside again, up and in, and balls muscled into the outfield. Now, the outfielders weren't deep. Love the throw, but watch Kirk go get it and then come and tag him. Rosario slid and had a stand-up slide. That might have gave Kirk the chance to get over there and make the tag. He is punched out by the home plate umpire. That could be a big play for the Blue Jays.
Well, Cleveland didn't challenge, and that was really close play at the plate. But Straw comes in to score the first run of the game. Now there are 2 outs, and Oscar Mercado goes after the first pitch. Ramirez, what an at bat he put together. Picks up the RBI, his 28th of the season. Called strike 2, fastball. Let's look at that play at the plate. Watch the tag. As the tag hits high, I think he's safe. I thought he tagged him on the knee and the foot came down on the plate, but the Indians didn't challenge the call at the plate. Good tag by Kirk as he took the short hop and swiped the tag, but Cleveland chose not to challenge the play at the plate. Mercado hits the base hit into left field. Runners coming around third. Here's the throw to home, and it'll be way offline, and ball gets away. The runners are going to move up. Ray's throw to third. As that ball got away from Kirk, Teoscar will be charged with an error. Reyes comes in to score, and it's 2-0 Cleveland.
O2 breaking ball that hangs over. Mercado is able to get a piece of it. This is a throw that doesn't need to be made, I think, as Reyes is going to score. He's off on the crack of the bat. There's no cutoff man there. So this is a throw that doesn't need to be made. No one was going anywhere. There's no chance to get that runner at the plate. So, you know, an error that didn't have to be made, and 2 more runners move up to second and third on that throw home.
Yeah, you're right. Reyes was halfway to home before Teoscar got to the ball, and he airmailed it. Ball slipped out of his hand, and Kirk couldn't keep it close. So the runners move up. 2 more runners in scoring position for Owen Miller. Miller drew a walk his first time up. Long inning for Robbie Ray. He's thrown 24 pitches. That's number 25, and he jams Miller, and that's a soft liner to second. The inning is over, but the Cleveland Indians score the first 2 runs of the game. They lead it 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the third. The Blue Jays have a 4-game win streak, and they've got a very young roster. When you look at the youngest Major League lineup and the highest OPS in the same season since 1950, the Blue Jays are listed twice behind the Cincinnati Reds of 1970, and that team turned into the Big Red Machine. The 90 Blue Jays team turned into back-to-back World Series championships in 92 and 93, and no telling what this team is headed for, Pat.
Yeah, hopefully really good things. That 90 team, they were a pennant-winning team, and in 91 got into the playoffs there. Of course, the 2 championship teams, the Big Red Machine, started around 1970. They had a 22-year-old leading them and Johnny Bench. This team has a 22-year-old leading them and Vladimir Guerrero. So I think good things ahead for this team if they can keep adding to it, stay hungry, want to win day in and day out. Good things are going to happen.
No question about it. You have to have a core of young players, and you complement your weaknesses with free agency and trades. And the Blue Jays, they've done a nice job. Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro, when they first arrived here, decided, hey, we're going to change the culture and we're going to develop a deep and consistent minor league system to fuel our major league team. And they've done just exactly that. Alejandro Kirk, he's one of those youngsters that had an impact starting last year. He's behind 0-2. Reaches for that breaking ball and fouls it to stay alive.
Yeah, this isn't about just winning, you know, a year or two where the window is shutting. This is about, hey, let's open up this window full blow and let's try and be competitive and win every single year. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of talent, and Blue Jays are getting there. Year by year, good things are happening with this organization.
The 1970s Red team had 22-year-old Johnny Bench, 22-year-old shortstop Dave Concepcion, and a 22-year-old outfielder named Bernie Carbo. And they all became terrific players as Kirk strikes out. One down here in the third. Another good changeup.
It's not very hard, but he disguises it very well with his fastball, and then it almost looks like a palm ball, how it goes down. And a palm ball, you just jam that ball back in the palm of your hand and throw it as hard as you can. Got that little tumbling action to it.
Biggio goes after the first pitch and hits a high pop-up into left field as Harold Ramirez is there. 2 down. Well, George Springer has just received an honor. He has been named the AL Player of the Week because he's put up some dramatic numbers as he's hit 400 for the week, an OPS of 1.57, extra base hits, and he has been everything the Blue Jays expected he would be once he's healthy back in the lineup. Congratulations to George Springer.
Boy, off the chart numbers from your leadoff hitter. And he was telling us this weekend that it feels like he's right. He was right at the end of spring training, like the regular season was getting ready to start. Just over 100 at bats going into the weekend. It feels like his timing is there. It feels like his eye's there.
Well, he ended up with a base hit there, and there's another play. There was no need to make a throw as Rosario made a Hail Mary throw, and Springer is way too fast. He had no chance, and once he dove and tried to throw him out, it was academic. Springer was going to have a 2-out base hit.
You know, we see batters hit 2 hoppers to the third baseman and beat him out. That's a 3 or 4 hopper in the hole in short outfield, left field. Rosario comes up throwing, but you're right, no chance to get him, so no chance to even throw that ball. Just throw it back to the pitcher and say, hey, let's get Vladdy here.
Vladdy takes the first pitch strike. Vladdy singled to center field his first time up. And you're right, if Rosario throws that away. Then Vladdy ends up hitting with Springer at second, and you just catch it and concede the infield hit. There are 2 outs. Up and in. Ball and a strike to Guerrero. Vladdy's got 121 hits now. And he wears out fastballs. Well, he's not going to get much of a fastball from Morgan. Lots of off-speed offerings. There's a slider hit to the second baseman, and that'll end the inning. So Blue Jays strand another base runner. They've left 3 on so far, and the Cleveland Indians have a 2-0 lead.
Well, so many of you out there have asked how, why, what led to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. being taped and stuck to the edge of the dugout by his teammates. Well, I went to George Springer, who along with Teoscar were the ones that tied Vlad all up. And this was the explanation from Springer. He said, we wanted Vlad to sit still. We wanted him to relax. He wouldn't sit still. He wouldn't relax. So Springer told me I figured the best way to get him to sit still was tie him to the bench because that way he couldn't move. And then George smiled and said, it worked, didn't it? Vlad didn't move. He just hung out on his off day. So that's why we did it. Now, on every other day, Springer said, we now look to Guerrero for his energy, for his attitude. Springer marvels that Vlad brings it the way he does every day, only the age of 22. And George stopped and said, you know, Vlad just understands kind of who he is, and that has been infectious, Buck, tied up in the dugout or not.
He is something else, man. I mean, we have seen a lot of great ball players over the years. There are some ball players that are meant to be stars, and Vladdy Guerrero was meant to be a star. He's got everything that you need. Of course, his ability is off the chart, but his personality is infectious. He just loves to play baseball, no matter if it's winter ball, spring training, late season, postseason. He just loves to play baseball, and it's infectious and spreads to his teammates. Swing and a miss as Hedges is the count in his favor. 2 balls and a strike. But Pat, you've been around a lot of great players in your day, and some of those players on the World Series teams that you were part of obviously had that same kind of mindset.
I think foul, what he has, I think, Buck, what he has is charisma, and you want to be around him. You know, he enjoys, like you say, playing the game, but he does it with such a flair and with an attitude that you want to be around this guy, and it rubs off on everybody else, his charisma, and he's made for TV, if you ask me.
Called strike 3. Hedges didn't agree with it, and he's telling the umpire, Dan Bellino, that's down. And he'll walk back to the dugout, but he certainly let the umpire know he thought it was low for a ball. But he's called out on strikes. That's the first strikeout of the afternoon for Robbie Ray.
Yeah, it took almost 2 times through the lineup to get that first strikeout, but that's right at the knees. Good job by Kirk to hold it there and frame it up for the pitcher. Get that first strikeout. Hedges was saying to the umpire, hey, take a look at that one a little bit longer next time. But Blue Jays will take that one for sure.
Ernie Clement, the second baseman, takes a called strike. It's a 1-on-1. 1-1 to Clement. He grounded back to the pitcher his first time up, and Hedges still talking about that call he felt went against him. Foul out of play on the slider. You know, to finish up a little more thought about Vladdy Guerrero, you and I both played with a guy that had the same kind of personality in Kansas City's George Brett. I mean, he played the game with so much joy and had similar talents. And Robin Yount was a guy I played with in Milwaukee that was the same way. I mean, everybody looked at these guys and watched what they did every single day because they were the best players on the field and they had the most fun at the same time. 1-2 pitch in the dirt, 2-2.
And when your best players are the best workers, they play the hardest, they play the game the right way, it makes the manager's job a lot easier. Everybody's going to follow suit then when your best players play the hardest, and that's what the Blue Jays have.
Off the glove of Ray. Simeon is there to handle it easily. Clement's thrown out. 2 away, retired here in the 4th. Back to the top of the order, Miles Straw. He must have early dinner reservations. He's seen 2 pitches today and swung at both of them. Flied out to center field and single to left. He scored the first run back in the 3rd. One of 2 runs Cleveland put up on the board in the 3rd inning. 2-0 Indians. First pitch strike to Miles Straw as Ray drops that slider on the outside corner. Ooh, another low strike called in Ray's favor, and Straw, he didn't like it at all. He felt like that was low, just like the low strike called on Austin Hedges. And Robbie Ray is ahead 0-2. That one's a little bit too low as it hit home plate. You know, you talk about the starting pitchers and how good the Blue Jays starters are. They understand that their offense is so good, a 2-0 deficit is nothing. So they can maintain their focus and just continue to grind and try to put up some zeros. And there's another liner, but this one right to Vladdy Guerrero at first. So Robbie Ray is out of the 4th. Now it's over to the hitters to make up those 2 runs. Tickets are still available for this homestand at Rogers Center. Game 2 of the split doubleheader versus the Boston Red Sox at 7:07 p.m. on August 7th are now on sale. That's right, Saturday is a split doubleheader. Boston is in town for the weekend series. They'll play 4 games in 3 days. So here's Marcus Semien. It'll be 3, 4, and 5 in the Blue Jays batting order against Eli Morgan. Morgan has allowed the Blue Jays just 2 hits. By this time in his debut, he was already out of the game. He lasted just 2 2/3 against the Blue Jays back in May in Dunedin. Check that, it was in Cleveland. But he's baffled them so far. And there's a drive to the alley, and that ball is going to be caught by Harold Ramirez. A sinking liner in the alley in left field as Ramirez went to a knee, slid, and made the catch to retire Semien.
Ball just hung up there a little bit too long. As a hitter, you're saying, get down, ball, get down for a base hit, but it hung up there enough and long enough for Ramirez to get it. Hits the ground, and the sunglasses come off, go over his face, but he's able to hold on to the ball for the first out.
Ramirez has played in all the 3 outfield positions. That first pitch curveball is bounced in the dirt to Bo Bichette. Bo flied out to shallow center field his first time up. Well, he got a pitch to hit and swung and missed a high slider right in the middle of the plate.
Yeah, he'll remember that one. If he throws it again, I bet you he hits it the next time.
He missed with that fastball up and in. It's 2-1. Eli Morgan making his 8th start of the season. His last start in the big leagues was July 21st. There's a fastball right at the bottom of the zone, and Austin Hedges was saying, okay, you called it on me, and now you call it on Bo.
Yeah, you better call that one. Fastball right at the knees, and he gets the call. That was the one that he was called out on last inning.
Well, what a good changeup. Swing and a miss by Bichette. Another strikeout for Morgan. Sportsnet now gives you 24/7 access to live stream the NHL, NBA, MLB, and more on any screen. Plans starting at $9.99. Visit snnow.ca for details. So Morgan has 4 strikeouts. 3 of them have come on the changeup. Teoscar Hernandez takes the first pitch strike. Teoscar struck out on a slider his first time up. That started the second inning for Morgan. And he gets that changeup in there for a strike. It's quickly 0-2. High fastball, swing and a miss. Quick inning for Morgan. 3 up, 3 down with a couple of strikeouts. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie and Joe. TD is celebrating off-the-field MVPs through the TD and Blue Jays MVP Spotlight. Brandy is an avid baseball fan and mother of 4. Her son Takai is a Challenger baseball athlete. She's put a lot of effort into keeping her Challenger baseball team connected. Visit BlueJays.com/TD MVP Spotlight to submit your nomination and for full contest rules. Congratulations for Brandy, doing such a great job and supporting that Challenger baseball program for her son Takai. Robbie Ray delivers a first pitch strike to Ahmed Rosario, and then he bounces that slider in the dirt. It's 1-1. Rosario has a double and a single in his 2 at-bats. He was thrown out at home plate by Randall Grichuk in the 3rd inning trying to score. Grichuk threw a strike. It was the first outfield assist for Randall this season. Off the plate, you could hear the umpire say outside. 2-1 now. Boy, Robbie Ray's pitch count has jumped up to 81 now with nobody out here in the 5th. Needs a quick inning. The Blue Jays, because they've gotten such good starting pitching and they have reinforced their bullpen, have a lot of fresh arms down in their pen. Guillermo Martinez and Bo Bichette talking about the movement of Morgan's pitches that they've been baffled by. And there's a pitch upstairs for ball 4. Leadoff walk, 3rd walk issued by Ray.
Yeah, this is not what we have seen of him lately. Last inning helped. He had a really quick 1-2-3 inning last inning. Thought that would get him back on track, and now he walks the leadoff batter Rosario. Now he's got to deal with the 2 best hitters that the Indians have to offer.
Jose Ramirez 1 for 2. He had an infield single his first time up. Popped out to short, and there was a big pop out at that point. It was the first out of an inning with runners at 2nd and 3rd. But they would cash in 2 runs in that inning. That was in the 3rd inning. There's a strike right down the middle, as we mentioned. Ramirez takes a lot of first pitches. Didn't swing very often. He did his last time up as he had runners in scoring position and chased a bad breaking ball. Rosario is 9 for 9 in steal attempts. Not running here. Good job by Kirk to keep that ball in front.
Kirk's having a good afternoon behind the plate. He has stolen a couple of pitches for his starting pitcher, framing up those balls. He's knocked down a bunch of balls in front of him. Now it looks like he wants him to throw over to first base, which he does. He's done a good job back there.
Yes, he has, and the only spot you're going to get in trouble catching Robbie Ray is the balls in the dirt, especially to the glove side. He's going to throw that hard slider and hard fastball, and it's going to be to the glove side in the dirt. 1-1 pitch. Upstairs, the runner's going again, and that's into the base path, into center field. So Alejandro Kirk will be charged with an error. It's the 2nd error for the Blue Jays as Rosario picks up his 10th stolen bases in as many attempts.
And again, the Indians are playing with nothing to lose, so you can be aggressive. You get thrown out, what's the big deal? A little bit more pressure on the Blue Jays, who are trying to win at home, and it shows. The Indians are playing carefree. They're starting runners when you're unexpected, and Rosario's now at third base, a chance to score another run.
Long run for Grichuk. He's going to get there, and here's the throw. Not deep enough for Rosario. He's got a hold at third. Randigeru got a good jump on that ball and got to it quickly. And there wasn't much of a chance to advance the runner from third. So Ramirez has stranded a couple of base runners in scoring position this afternoon.
Tough to get that guy out, but that's exactly what Robbie Ray has done in pressure-packed situations. And now with that fly ball not advancing the runner, you can bring the infield in. It looks like they're going to pitch to Reyes. Last time they pitched around him to set up the double play, and that didn't work. Next two batters got base hits.
There, Ramirez is on deck. There's the infield drawn in right to the edge of the infield grass. First pitch strike called, fastball on the inside corner. Jose Ramirez has had a chance to bust this game wide open. He had two runners in scoring position back into third and popped out to short. And there he left the man at third with nobody out. Flied out to shallow right. 0-1. Foul back. Reyes got beat by that inside fastball. Reyes walked and scored the second run back in the third inning. He grounded out to shortstop on the first pitch in the first. Another ball in the dirt, and that's that ball we talked about, that ball to the glove side of Alejandro Kirk. That's the only place you're really going to have problems, and you got to be aware of that.
Got to stay on your toes. His slider is good, and it's a hard slider, 90+ mile-an-hour slider with movement. Runner at third base, you gotta keep that ball in front of you any way you can. Save that run.
1-2. Cut out and missed. He went after that high fastball. Then Robbie Ray gets another strikeout. That's just his second. But it comes at a big time here in the fifth inning.
It does. Take advantage of a little over aggressiveness trying to get that runner in. Reyes has driven in 51 runs on 20 home runs. So he was thinking about driving him in on that high fastball, and Robbie blows it right by him. Still not out of it now, but your job's a little bit easier.
Well, Ramirez had an extended at bat his last time up and picked up an RBI single to right. That time he doesn't go after that first pitch. Larry Vanover, the crew chief down at first base, had no swing. Ramirez drove in the first run of that two-run third inning, and he fouled off tough pitch after tough pitch and singled to right. That missed upstairs, a slider called high and off the plate inside. It's 2 balls and no strikes.
They have continually pounded him in. Maybe they go away at some point in this at bat right here against Ramirez instead of in.
Ramirez found that fastball back. And once again, Robbie Ray, he's creeping up toward 100 pitches. Cleveland has done a good job of making him work and extending a lot of these at bats. Ramirez had an 9-pitch at bat his first time up and got that single. He wouldn't chase that high fastball. 3 balls and his strike, 2 outs. Runner at third base is Ahmad Rosario. He drew a leadoff walk. Stole second and moved to third on the air by Alejandro Kirk. Fouled off. Looked like a changeup on the outside part of the plate that Ramirez fouled off at home plate. It's now a full count. Top of the 5th inning. Cleveland has a 2-0 lead in the first of 4 games against the Blue Jays here at Rogers Center. Oscar Mercado is on deck. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Cut on and miss. Robbie Ray strikes out Harold Ramirez with a high fastball. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. 2-0 Blue Jays. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet, presented by TD. Olympic coverage on Sportsnet continues. Tune in tonight for men's volleyball, beach volleyball, canoe sprint, and wrestling. It all begins at 8 Eastern on Sportsnet and Sportsnet 1. The Canadian women's soccer team had a big win over USA, 1-0. And USA, one of the heavy favorites in that soccer gold medal chase, and congratulations to the Canadian women's team. Randal Grichuk goes after the first pitch and pops it over the Blue Jays dugout, out of play. Randal has played a very good outfield. He has not committed an error this season. He just picked up his first outfield assist when he threw out Rosario at home plate back in the 3rd. He has the 3rd most games played in the outfield without committing an error, behind Robbie Grossman and Miles Straw. Randall's had an exceptional season defensively in center and in right. He's leading off the 5th. The Blue Jays need to get something going against Eli Morgan. They haven't been able to solve him. And there's a little slider on the outside part of the plate for a strike. It's 1-2. Morgan has given the Blue Jays fits with a steady diet of off-speed pitches and a great changeup. And there's a called strike 3 on a fastball. That's 3 strikeouts in a row for Morgan and 6 in the ball game.
His season high is 9. He did that in just 5 innings. He's mixing and matching well. I think you got to give Austin Hedges a little bit of an assist on that one. Randal Grichuk looking for something off speed. You can't throw it down the middle any more than that. Fastball right there. Fastball is just 90 miles an hour. Got that little cutter, that slider, and then that great changeup. Blue Jays are going to have to dial it down just a little bit, I think, against this guy, because he doesn't throw like the 95 mile an hour that they like. He's more of an old school kind of pitcher.
Indeed he is. A little bit of Marco Estrada style of approach. He'll surprise you with that fastball, just in the 90s, but keeps you off balance. There's another great changeup, and it's really slow. That's unusual, and generally you'll see a fastball 8 to 10 miles an hour slower or harder than the changeup, but his is like 15 to 18. Very slow changeup, but it's effective. 1-2 to Espinal. Comes right back with it and misses down and away. It's 2-2.
And usually you'll throw a circle change where you let that ball roll off your pinky finger, or a 3-finger change. You know, we'll have to see that grip and how he holds that, but he's got some nice tumbling action on that changeup too.
There he gets a check swing foul back on the high fastball at 93, and that's kind of a Fosh grip. It's a changeup, a 4-seam grip, but it's a Fosh that was a split finger grip, but it's split between the 2nd and 3rd finger, or 3rd and 4th fingers, and it's really a unique grip. And there's a swing and a miss, another high pitch. 4 strikeouts in a row now, as the Blue Jays haven't been able to put anything together against Eli Morgan.
You know, guys used to call that grip the Vulcan grip. You know, Spock from Star Trek, he's a long live and prosper. You get the ball in between those fingers in that Vulcan grip, and you pull it down, and that's how he gets that tumbling action on that ball. It's pretty impressive. Blue Jays going to have to make the adjustment here.
Remember, Mike Boddicker threw that pitch and threw it very effectively for the Orioles in his heyday, and he just split the middle finger and ring finger on his pitching hand. And Kirk takes one inside. It's 2 balls and no strikes. But the beauty of this Blue Jays lineup, you can erase a 2-0 deficit with a bloop and a blast. And we're just in the 5th inning. Fastball right at the corner for a strike. 2-1. Alejandro Kirk batting in the 8th spot. He struck out on a changeup back in the 3rd. Fouls back that high fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Eli Morgan, making his 2nd career start against the Blue Jays, is out pitching Robbie Ray at this point. Carl Willis, the longtime pitching coach, must be enjoying this. They have 2 of their big-time pitchers on the IL, and Carl Willis has been a great pitching coach for a long time. Changeup hit hard and deep. This is going to be off the wall. One hops the wall in left. Kicked around by Ramirez, but Alejandro Kirk will coast into 2nd with his 3rd double of the season, a 2-out double. And this is what we're talking about, just a bloop and a blast, or maybe a double and a double, and you're back on the scoreboard.
You have to tell yourself to stay back and wait and wait and wait, and Kirk does that. He keeps the hands back long enough. He rocks back on that back leg, and that allows him to wait just a little bit longer. Still out in front, but he's able to keep that ball fair down the left field line. Extra base hit, first extra base hit for the Blue Jays this afternoon. Maybe some 2-out lightning coming.
Bottom of the order, Blue Jays always flourish when the bottom of the order does something with the bats. Gavin Biggio popped out to left his first time up, takes a first pitch strike, top of the zone for strike 1. Blue Jays are the best hitting team with runners in scoring position in the majors. Come into this game with a .280 average overall. They're 2nd behind Boston, batting with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. Boston's hitting .270 in these situations. The Blue Jays .264. Blue Jays would love to get that guy to the plate here this inning. George Springer is on deck. 0-2 pitch. Fouled off. Went top of the zone with that fastball, and Biggio fouled it off. Pat, you made a great point about Austin Hedges, because he has mixed pitches very effectively today and really kept the Blue Jays hitters off stride.
Yeah, he has him looking for the changeup, and he's throwing the fastball, and vice versa, looking for the fastball, and he throws that changeup. This is where scouting reports can really help a hitter. Again, there's not a lot of history between Eli Morgan and the Blue Jays, but you can go back and you can look at similar type of hitters, like for Gavin Biggio, a left-handed hitter. What does he like to throw with 2 strikes? And maybe you can go up there and look for it. Hedges is thinking right along with the Blue Jay batters tonight.
And Morgan is following his lead as well. 1-2 pitch. Checked his swing. The appeal down to 3rd, and no swing according to Jeremy Riggs, the 3rd base umpire. So Kevin, this is a tough one, man. You really got to battle and just make up your mind. Hey, the best approach against Morgan is to get jammed. He doesn't throw hard enough to blow me away.
That is a great point. You can adjust. Usually it's look for the fastball, adjust to the curve or the off speed. Against Morgan, it's look for the off speed, adjust to the fastball.
And Biggio's caught looking at a fastball. Boy, what a job by Eli Morgan. 8 strikeouts through 5 innings, and he leaves the 5th inning with a 2-0 lead. For an in-depth look at your Toronto Blue Jays, check out At the Letters podcast, presented by Miller Lite. Ben Nicholson Smith and Arden Zwilling check in every Friday on sportsnet.ca, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Ben Nicholson Smith working hard at the ballpark today. making sure he's got everything in line for their next podcast. It's a great listen, folks, so make sure you check it out. Robbie Ray hanging in there. He gave up 2 runs in the 3rd inning, but the Blue Jays haven't been able to get anything going against Eli Morgan, and Ray starts the 6th inning, trailing 2-0. Oscar Mercado had an RBI single his last time up. He drove in the 2nd run. Inside ball 2 as he missed with that fastball. 99 pitches for Robbie Ray, and they have really worked him over, elevating that pitch count, and he misses with another pitch inside. It's 3-0. Ray getting near close to the end. Pete Walker looking at that counter and disappointed with the pitch count being at 100. And Ray has kept him in the striking distance, and there's a strike. Robbie Ray has gone over 100 pitches, his season high 112 way back on the 16th of May against Philadelphia. And there's a fly ball into right. Shouldn't be a problem as that ball is hit out to right field. Randal Grichuk is there to make the catch. This check in with a rash.
Well, Buck, Ray has had 4 different guys catch him this season, and he says it's worked because it's almost been like an unspoken bit of chemistry with the other end of the battery. Ray told me, I do my work, they're on the same page, and the rest falls into place. Robbie said there's not a whole lot of dialogue going back and forth. He just feels he's really locked in right now. And Ray made this point saying, when you put up zeros for your team, give your team a chance to win every 5 days, it makes you feel like you're part of something bigger.
Oh, no question about it, and that's the starter's role. Put your team in position to win every time out. Robbie's making his 21st start of the season, and he's done that once again today, pitching into the 6th inning. Ground ball pulled foul by Owen Miller, the first baseman. No balls and 2 strikes. But as we said, I think every starter on this team understands just keep the damage to a minimum. And sooner or later, this lineup is going to come back and score some runs. Swung on and missed a nasty slider as Ray strikes out Miller. That's his 4th strikeout of the afternoon.
Robbie says he's got a lot of trust with Kirk, and Kirk's done a good job with him again this afternoon. That's a good slider, maybe his best so far, as that one finishes off the hitter. Blue Jays look like they're just going to go batter to batter with Robbie right now. If he gets into trouble, they have Dolis warming up in the pen in case he can't finish this inning. But you have a good starting pitching staff like this, you let them go. You let them. You might push them a little bit further because they have been so good, and they've done a good job of protecting those arms this year.
And there is Dolis. He should be ready. He's been up throwing most of this inning. Shouldn't take him long to crank it up. Robbie Ray over 100 pitches for the 9th time in 21 starts, and that's what you want from your starters. Pitch deep into a game. Missed inside. Robbie Ray throws his hands up as if to say, where was that pitch, to Dan Bellino, the home plate umpire. But indeed, it looked like it missed off the plate. Pete Walker letting the umpire know he thought it was a strike, and there's a pop-up. This is playable. Center of the diamond. Simeon, the shortstop, takes charge and pops it up. Robbie Ray. 6 solid innings, but the Blue Jays trail 2-0. Single game tickets for the next 2 homestands go on sale Thursday, August 5th at 10 a.m. Watch your Blue Jays take on the Detroit Tigers, Chicago White Sox, Baltimore Orioles, and the Oakland Athletics. Visit BlueJays.com for tickets. The Blue Jays have fortified their team with some great acquisitions prior to the trade deadline, and they have a very favorable schedule second half of the season. Coming into this game today, the Blue Jays had played just 47 home games. And that's the fewest home games in all of baseball, so the schedule from here on out is going to feature a lot of home games now at Rogers Center. And there's a start. George Springer jumps on the first pitch and rips it into center field for a leadoff single. 6th inning. This is where the Blue Jays can do some great work. George is 2 for 3 now.
Yeah, 3rd time through the lineup. Everybody has faced the starter Eli Morgan twice. They understand what he has. This is a good start. He has been seeing everything. Again, just named the player of the week. The American League Player of the Week gets the 6th started on the right foot for the Blue Jays.
Eli Morgan has really been impressive here this afternoon as Vladdy takes one upstairs. Morgan, coming into this game, had the largest increase in average from the first to the second time through the order in the majors. The batting average from the first time through the order to the second time increased 231 points and went from 183 first time through the order to 414 second time through the order. But he had managed 2 trips through the order very effectively. Now it's the 3rd time through the order. Swing and a drive, stay fair ball, and gone! Vladdy Guerrero, a bullet into the seats, and just like that, the Blue Jays have tied it.
Yeah, and this is the 3rd time through the lineup. And a little bit more knowledge. They have a little bit more of an idea. Base hit for Springer. Line drive into the seats, home run number 34 for Vladdy, and we're tied up with 1 swing of the bat. I am so impressed with the way he got to that pitch and was able to keep that thing fair down the left field line, and it got out of here in a hurry.
Did it ever, and he's sporting the home run jacket once again. For Vladdy, home run number 34, 2 RBIs give him 85 for the season. He leads the majors in RBIs. Swing and a drive, left field. Get up, ball. Get out of here. And caught right at the fence by Harold Ramirez. That ball may have been toward the end of the bat. And it's still a tie game. Going back and one more look at Vladdy.
You know, I don't know about you, but to be able to hit a ball this hard on where it's pitched, pulls the hands in, level swing through the baseball, 115 miles an hour. That's a 424-foot line drive to left field. I know I can't hit a ball like that. Very few people on this planet can hit a ball like that. That's one of them right there.
160th home run for the Blue Jays. Again, they have taken the lead in the majors. Upstairs. Boy, what a player. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. And it just seems like all great players rise to the occasion. Well, with a swing and a miss, it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Robbie Ray. I think he's out of the game. He got congratulations from his manager, and he'd love to see one more run here. With the Blue Jays tying it up, they have shifted gears, and Adam Cimber is now loosening up. And this is not unusual, folks. The Blue Jays and many teams, they have a different lineup of relief pitchers according to the score, and now they've tied it up, and they'll go to their A team down in the bullpen. Bo Bichette with a 1-2 count. Fights off that fastball to stay alive. He fouled it straight back.
Yeah, he is battling him again. 3rd time through the lineup. Blue Jays look a little bit more comfortable, have a little bit more knowledge of what this young right-hander has to offer. Springer with a good at-bat, Guerrero, and then Semien, all good at-bats. Now Bo's having another one of those long at-bats.
Oh, he reaches for that one. Another changeup and fouled it off to stay alive. Boy, he looks like Gumby with 2 strikes, doesn't he? He can stretch and get to anything.
The elastic man, yeah, any of those things close. Teams have had success when they got the 2 strikes, throwing nasty breaking balls in the dirt. And he fouls off another tough pitch. Yeah, but if you make a mistake against him, we have seen him juice balls with 2 strikes. You can throw those tough pitches and he'll foul them off and foul them off. That strikeout rate is going down. Then you make a mistake and he can hit a line drive somewhere.
They hit that one right off the fencing in front of the dugout in the first base dugout. It's amazing how good his bat to ball skills are. When he gets to 2 strikes, it rarely matters where the ball is. He can get to it at least to foul it off and stay alive. That's changeup. He went to a knee to get to that one. Popped up. The shortstop Rosario out into left field to make the catch, and that's the second out of the inning.
Yeah, fooled just a little bit. You talk about bat to ball skills, that hand-eye coordination can hit anything, and that's why he's a good hitter. He can hit good pitching and tough pitching. That was a tough pitch, and he's able to get underneath it just a little bit. You see him shaking his head a little bit, upset that he didn't get a better swing on that one.
Teoscar Hernandez, a couple of strikeouts today against Morgan. Morgan has 8 strikeouts. Teoscar struck out in the second and again in the fourth. Got him on a slider the first time, and he chased a high fastball his second at bat. Changeup bounced in the dirt. Bo Bichette, Vladdy Guerrero going to be impact stars for this team for many, many years to come. High fastball. He didn't go after it this time. 2 balls and a strike to Teoscar Hernandez. The Blue Jays have tied it up here in the 6th. Robbie Ray, another terrific outing for Ray. And Teoscar fouls it down the right side, and that'll slice out of play into the seats. Ray is going to end up with a no decision. 2 runs on 6 hits over 6 innings. And he's been remarkably consistent. Once again, he has the Blue Jays in a perfect spot to win this game. 2-2 pitch. Check swing, and they appeal down to first, and it looked like it might have been a good strike to begin with, but the call is in Hernandez's favor. It's a full count.
Now what does he do here? 3-2. Teoscar's been telling himself to stay back as long as possible. He might throw him another changeup.
Fastball missed down and away for ball 4. Teoscar sitting on a breaking ball. That fastball misses, and he'll go to first base, and that'll bring up Randal Grichuk. So Teoscar keeps the inning going. Carl Willis looks like he's going to take a mound visit now. He and the manager, DeMarlo Hale, having a bit of a brief conversation. Willis, as we mentioned, a long-time pitching coach and a good one. And Pat, you made a point about just a couple of years ago how deep this rotation was, but they've been decimated by injuries.
Injuries and trades and guys making too much money, but they have a new influx of young pitchers coming up. And Carl Willis has coached the All-Stars. He has coached World Series types of players, and now he gets to do it all over again with this new batch of young players that are coming up. This is a reminder right here of what they want to do to Randal Grichuk. But a point about the Blue Jays offense, I think this is the beauty of it right here, Buck. You got Teoscar Hernandez with a 2-out walk at first base. He's got 7 stolen bases. You know, he's not just a power hitter or a guy who can drive in some runs. He can steal you a base. If you could pick on one of those changeups, he'll steal second for you and get in the scoring position. Maybe Blue Jays can take the lead and get Robbie Ray a win this afternoon instead of a no decision.
He's got a good lead at first. Not running here. Rando takes a breaking ball for strike 1. Well, I'm with you, Pat. Teo's done a great job, 7 for 10 in steals. And you know, Morgan has thrown a lot of those slow changeups today. Hedges has a good arm. Not running again. Fouled out of play by Grichuk. 0-2.
Maybe the threat of the steal can get a fastball for Randal Grichuk as there's some action down in the pen.
James Grichuk loosening up for Cleveland, and there's a throw over to first. Hedges has thrown out 30% of the base stealers running against him. Marlo Hale giving the signs to the catcher. Hold, throw over, step off, and another throw to first. He's back easily ahead of the throw. Morgan has done a nice job, Cleveland, this afternoon. He's really held a pretty potent lineup to just 5 hits. Vladdy Guerrero has 2 of those, as does George Springer. 2 of the best hitters in the game. Fastball missed, and as that fastball you were talking about, Pat, the threat of a steal forced Morgan into a fastball.
Yeah, maybe that will get Randal an extra fastball, and he's a good fastball hitter. Just that threat of possibly stealing. But if you're Charlie Montoyo and the Blue Jays, you got to pick on that changeup.
Slider off the plate, 2-2 now. Just take a shot right here and gamble. Start to runner here on 2-2. Randal hits one into the alley. Teoscar can score from first. 2-2 pitch. Not running again, and there's a ball ripped off the screen down the left field line off that netting. Randal just couldn't wait long enough, but he hit it on the barrel, but he was out in front.
Yeah, he saw it. He struck out last time looking for that changeup, and they crossed him up and threw a fastball. And he's got that in the back of his mind, that last at bat.
Another 2-2 pitch with 2 outs. Swing and a miss. The fastball gets Grichuk. That's 9 strikeouts for Morgan, but Vladdy Guerrero with a man aboard gets a changeup and hits a rocket into the seats in left field for Guerrero, number 34, and it's a 2-2 ball game. Download the MLB app to get in-game video highlights, live pitch-by-pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and more for your Toronto Blue Jays. Robbie Ray with another strong outing for the Blue Jays. His 21st start of the season, and he goes 6 solid innings, gives up 2 runs. They both came in the 3rd inning. They had another runner cut down at the plate on a terrific throw from Randal Grichuk. Only 4 strikeouts, but he pitched around some traffic on the bases as he strands 6 base runners, and now he has been left with a no decision. He turns things over to the Blue Jays bullpen. First up, Adam Cimber.
The former Cleveland Indian, he pitched in Cleveland from 2018, 19, and 2020. He's done a heck of a job since the Blue Jays picked him up from Miami. These types of situations right here, bridge from the starter to the closer, throw up some zeros, maybe you can get some win. He's won 2 games out of the pen this year.
That first pitch looked like it was right down the middle, and Clement pops it up to Springer in center field. So there's one down here as they retire the number 9 hitter to start the top of the 7th. Now the Blue Jays have 2 former Indians now in their bullpen in Cimber and Brad Hand. And they were teammates, of course, there. Cimber has done a terrific job in his last outing. He went an inning in the 3rd and had 4 strikeouts. Leadoff man Miles Straw is 1 for 3 this afternoon. He's picked up a stolen base and he has scored a run. Very aggressive hitter. He is locked and loaded for that first pitch.
Corners are in on the infield just in case he taps a ball or tries to bunt his way on. Guerrero at first base is in on the grass. And he looks at strike 1.
Time now for Blue Jays baseball is brought to you on Sportsnet, presented by TD. Two-two ball game. We're in the 7th. First of 4 against Cleveland. Outside with the fastball. Ball on the strike to Miles Straw. Pat, you mentioned it. We want to keep Straw off the bases here. He's got some speed. Picked up his 18th stolen base back in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, keep him off. You know, the way they are playing today, they are playing
he hits
reckless.
One in between the outfielders, and that's going to split the outfielders, and Straw's going to end up with second. With his good speed, picks up a double. It's his 14th double of the season, and they have a base runner in scoring position. Straw's been a nice pickup for Cleveland.
Came out of nowhere. They got him for a couple of young players. He hits it to the guy who he replaced in Houston after George Springer signed with the Blue Jays. George cuts that ball off and holds him to a double. That gets by him, and it's 3 for sure with his speed. Now, he no guarantee he's going to stay there, so you got to keep an eye on him at second base.
First pitch is a slider for strike 1 to Ahmed Rosario. He's been on base all 3 times. He has doubled, singled, and walked. And he's picked up 2 stolen bases. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball. Cimber is ahead 0-2. Boy, Cimber is a solid veteran who has really pitched well since joining the Blue Jays. He is a guy that's really calm, never gets rattled in these situations, and he's a strike thrower. 0-2. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. Rosario retired for the first time this afternoon. Second out of the inning.
You can see after that first slider, Rosario wasn't very comfortable on that sidearm slider. Missed that one by about a foot. They just kept throwing it to him 3 straight to retire him. Now you got to get a hitter who's tough. He's had a rough day, but he is a good hitter.
He has stranded several base runners as he just hasn't been able to come up with a big hit, and there's a first pitch slider. Jose Ramirez, he's hitting .279 against lefty pitching this season, better than his overall season average. 0-1. Slider missed outside, trying to find that outside corner and missed. This is where Cimber runs that fastball up and into lefty hitters. And he has been very effective at doing that. He has a knack for throwing it higher than that bat swing plane. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Slider, he checked his swing and went too far. Jeremy Riggs, the third base umpire, calls him for the swing. Slider outside. He had to go after it and fouls it down the left side, foul. And Ramirez now, he's got that slider in his mind, and Cleveland has had a tough day batting in these situations. Just 3 for 11 with runners in scoring position. And Jose Ramirez has had some opportunities to drive in runs and hasn't come through yet. Fastball hit in the air, center field. Springer on the run, in the alley, makes the catch. George Springer was shaded in the opposite alley, long run, but Cimber gets out of it. It's still tied as we go to the bottom of the 7th. The Jays Care Return to Toronto Jackpot continues. All sales online and in stadium are being combined for the first homestand. Tonight's early bird prize is a signed Vladdy Jr. baseball, plus the mega jackpot, which currently stands at just about $350,000. Get your tickets now at BlueJays.com/5050. Someone is going to win a nice prize, and in doing so, you're supporting a terrific cause. The Jays Care Foundation. New pitcher into the ball game for Cleveland, as Eli Morgan does a terrific job. And now they go to their bullpen, and it's James Karinchak out of their bullpen, first up in this 2-2 game. Good arm, hard thrower, live fastball.
Yeah, he's among the leaders, a lot of leaders in categories for relief pitching, second in average of 166 games. They use him a lot. This is his 50th. And strikeouts. Fastball, curveball. That's what he will feature. They have used him as a closer, and they've used him as a setup man this year.
Santiago Espinal. There's that hard curveball, missed outside for ball 1. "49 games this season coming into this game. Time is called at home plate. This is the first time the Blue Jays have faced Karinchak, making his personal debut against the Blue Jays. Ground ball right to the shortstop, Rosario. 1 down. Eli Morgan, the starter for the Indians, made his debut against the Blue Jays back in May, and what a difference outing for him today. He was very impressive over his 6 innings of work, Pat.
The only difference, the weather is a little bit nicer today. 2 2/3 last time, 6 very good innings to go along with 92 pitches, 9 strikeouts. And that's all that DeMarlo Hale, who was filling in for Terry Francona, could ask for from his starter. 9 really good innings. The only blemish, that inning where he got up the single, the home run last inning.
Home run to Vladdy Guerrero. And he delivers the first pitch strike to Alejandro Kirk. 9 strikeouts, that ties Morgan's career high. He also had 9 against the Cubs back on the 22nd of June, and that was over 5 innings of work. Alejandro Kirk takes a first pitch strike. Bounce that curveball into dirt. It's 1-1. Karinchak was a 9th round pick by the Indians back in 2017. It's one of those guys that has come through and has done a nice job for them. He's a strikeout pitcher that has averaged 40% strikeouts for his career. Curveball gets in there for a strike. It's 1-2.
And he's basically done it again with 2 pitches. Very hard curveball. That was it right there for strike 2. He also has 9 holds this season. He'll give you more than 1 inning if you need it. But yeah, they have put together a pretty good bullpen again for the Indians.
The Indians have done a terrific job coming into games and holding leads and keeping a game tied if it is. They have a great job great record this year, coming in late in the game and protecting leads. High fastball. Kirk had a cut at it, but fouled it straight back. The Cleveland Indians bullpen this season, when entering with the lead, pitches to a .263 earned run average. It's the second best in baseball, behind only the Cubs. And of course now it's a 2-2 game, and you see what they have done for the season overall. Only Tampa Bay and Boston have a better bullpen ERA than Cleveland. Another high fastball he missed. Two balls, two strikes. Kirk batting with one out. Fastball right down the middle at 97 for called strike three. Kirk strikes out for a second time, looking for that curveball. He got the heater.
Boy, what a good job that Austin Hedges has done behind the plate, calling these pitches. He knew Blue Jays were going to be looking for the changeup against Morgan and the curveball against Karinchak, and he's been crossing him up a few times today with that fastball. That one right down the middle. Indians bullpen, first in the American League in strikeouts per 9 innings. You can see why. They've got some guys who can bring it.
Cavan Biggio, he's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Caught looking at a fastball his last time up. First pitch is up and away at 97 for ball one. Cleveland scored 2 runs in the top of the third. The Blue Jays tied it up with 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th on a Vladdy Guerrero 2-run home run. Line drive foul past first base down the right field line. Corey Dickerson and Bo Bichette visiting on the bench. Dickerson has been out on a rehab assignment. It sounds like he's getting very close to being activated. He's a left fielder, left-handed batter. He's had some great seasons and has played in the American League East with Tampa Bay. It'll be interesting to see how they utilize his tools. 1-1 pitch. Curveball missed the bottom of the zone. It's 2 balls and a strike to Biggio.
There's the shift on for Cavan. We have seen a lot of different defenses against him this year. We've seen a 4-man outfield. We have seen a 3-man right side of the infield with another one straight away at shortstop. I mean, they've tried everything. He's trying to blast one out of the ballpark. Now at 3-1.
Can you just guess on a fastball in this situation now? Looks like the Indians are going to get somebody else throwing down in their pen.
I think it's a great time. You can guess fastball. Sell out to a fastball right here. You're thinking extra base hit for sure. And maybe more.
3-1. Fastball and missed away. Ball 4 to Biggio. Boy, that's a big walk. Karinchak has pitched in 2 of the last 3 games coming into this game this afternoon. On Friday, he threw 16 pitches against the White Sox, came back on Saturday and threw 12 more. So he has worked in 3 of the last 4 games, and Carl Willis is asking for time as he's going to go to the mound to give Karinchak a break, and the bullpen is up and throwing. Nick Sandlin is loosening up for the Indians as he has just now started to throw, but it shouldn't take him long. Carl Willis, of course, back to talk to the pitcher and talk about George Springer a bit. Springer has 2 hits and 3 trips so far. You can see him talking to Austin Hedges as well about how they want to go after Springer in this situation.
Yeah, hey, this guy was just named the American League Player of the Week. He's been hitting everything. you know, what feels good today? This is the kind of conversation that's going on. Well, let's try and use our fastball and pitch away from him. Maybe don't show him the curveball till there's two strikes. I mean, there's all kind of things that they can talk about, and then take your time doing that. Let that guy warm up a little bit more down in that bullpen in case he loses him.
Yeah, and don't worry about getting this guy out, because the next guy, oh, by the way, that's Vladdy Guerrero. So good luck. Springer 2 for 3. First pitch curveball misses inside. It broke around the plate on the inside. Everybody's getting their first look at Karinchak. First time he has pitched against the Blue Jays. Fastball off the plate, away. 2-0. This is a tough lineup, man. Once you turn that lineup over and you stare into Springer, Guerrero, Semien, Bichette, Hernandez, not a lot of easy stops in the lineup. Swing and a miss at a fastball right on the outside corner.
Yeah, pitching him tough. That pitch, I think, was going to tell you the story right there. 2-0. Is he going to challenge him, or is he going to pitch around him? He made a pretty good pitch down and away to Springer. And we have seen George shoot that same ball to right center field for extra bases.
Fastball hit in the air, not that deep. Mercado is there, and the Blue Jays will be done in their half of the 7th. Karinchak gets out of it, gets Springer to fly out. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet, presented by TB.
So the Blue Jays have added 4 bullpen arms in the last month, and the latest, a deadline acquisition, Joakim Soria, about to make his Toronto debut. Now, all the new arms have 9th inning big league experience, so I asked Pete Walker, who's your closer? And Walker said you'll see Romano out there a lot, but if the opponents have the meat of the order coming up in the 8th, it could be Romano there, or Brad Hand, or Adam Cimber, or Soria in the 9th also. Now the Blue Jays have legit options now with their relievers. They feel really good about the bullpen now with these moves, and adding these veteran arms, Walker told me, solidifies the back end. Buck?
Meichert has a rash, and Soria has 229 career saves. He really hasn't been that primary closer since probably with Detroit in 2015, but he's had some big save seasons. Misses with that first pitch upstairs to Franmil Reyes. Soria with 229 saves. Brad Hand joined the Blue Jays with 126 saves. So they picked up some veteran arms that have pitched in big games for a long time. Breaking ball has always been a calling card of Soria. Missed with that curveball. It's 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, when he first came up with Kansas City, he had a cutter that reminded me a little bit of the great Mariano Rivera, and he used it a lot when he was a younger player. Not that guy right now. He'll throw the breaking ball, the fastball. He needs to spot it to get outs, but he's not going to get rattled. He's been in this situation. And to finish up what Arash was saying, they've got closers, guys who have been closers before, and all of them will pitch wherever they need them. They have said that. You need me in the 7th, 8th, 9th, doesn't matter. Just find the matchups, Charlie, that works for you. We all just want to win.
That cutter missed upstairs. He tried to throw the slider and missed with it. This is the 9th team that Soria has pitched with. He spent the majority of his career in Kansas City, as Pat mentioned, his first big league club. And he's pitched in Oakland, Texas, Detroit, all of those 2-year stints. 3-1 pitch, fouled out of play. Full count now. Soria has some postseason experience as well, going back to 2014 with Detroit. And he pitched with the Pirates, the Brewers, and Oakland all in the postseason. He is from Mexico. He'll be pitching the rest of the season at 37 years old. He turned 37 in May. Off speed pitch hit in the air. Guerrero's got a beat on it in foul ground, stays with it and makes the catch. Soria retires the first batter he faces as a Blue Jay.
Looks like it's really windy there today, and Vladdy's gotten really good at that. Going back, he says he's been told, I got lots of room, stays with it. You can see the wind blowing it away from him, but he stays with it. With that big mitt, he's able to put it out there, and it disappears inside that mitt for the first out.
There's that curveball at just 68 miles an hour. He drops it in there for a strike to Harold Ramirez. The left fielder is 1 for 3 today. Ramirez drove in the first run for Cleveland in the third. First of 2 runs they scored that inning. High fastball, 95. He reached back for a little extra.
That's about 30 miles an hour difference between that curveball and the fastball. I mean, that's just experience right there. Being able to manipulate the ball like that. Now he's got him where he wants him.
There's a splitter, looked like they bounced in the dirt at 89. Lots of innings for Soria over his career. 14 seasons he comes into this game, having thrown 755 innings of relief. Ground ball hit the third, backhanded by Espinal. Strong throw in time. Espinal has been terrific with the glove at third base all season long. Whether he comes in as a replacement or whether he starts the game, it makes no difference. He's got sure hands and a strong arm.
This late in a game, in a tie game, you got to get on that line. You can't let any ball get by you. He goes over there calmly, backhands the ball, picks it, and fires across the diamond. The first day here, he was having trouble when that ball was hitting the dirt. It was staying down. He learned something right there. That ball stayed down, and he picked it cleanly.
2 outs. We're in the top of the 8th. Oscar Mercado. He drove in a run in the third and takes a first pitch for a strike. Well, I tell you what, you can really see the difference with experienced pitchers, how they pitch with so much confidence and they commit to every pitch and they never give in to hitters. They're constantly pitching. That's the case with Soria. Swing and a miss. Nick Sandlin looks like he's getting ready to come into the game here. James Karinchak has pitched in 3 of the last 4 games for DeMarlo Hale, so they're going to make a pitching change. Joakim Soria, the third pitcher for the Blue Jays. Robbie Ray, Adam Cimber, now Soria. Big sweeping breaking ball missed away.
You know, you were just talking about Soria and the veteran and the experience in pitching. This has got to be fun for a catcher too, when you put down that sign, right? And he can hit it and do a game plan for you.
Good curveball. How about a debut for Joakim Soria? In a 2-2 game, he retires the side in order with a strikeout. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie and Joe.
We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. We are all tied up at 2, and we're there because of Vladimir Guerrero. Last time up, inside pitch, home run number 34. StatCast powered by Google Cloud. 424 feet, the second longest home run that he has ever hit. 115 miles an hour off the bat. He gets the home run jacket. Blue Jays get a tie score with that one blast. Maybe a chance to do it again here in the 8th.
Nick Sandlin comes on in relief for Cleveland. We mentioned how well this bullpen has pitched, and he's another member that's pitched very well. Opponent sitting just 151 against Sandlin. Fastball, slider, splitter. from a funky angle. He gets Guerrero to pop up over near the Indians' dugout as Miller is there to retire Guerrero on one pitch.
Boy, and Vladdy was on that one. I think he knew it was coming. You can see he's upset with himself. He knew it was coming. He got that pitch and he got underneath it. We have seen him hit that same ball a long, long way. At that time, he just missed it.
So here's Marcus Semien. He's 0 for 3 so far, and the fastball rides upstairs for ball 1. Breaking ball pulled foul. He hit it hard, but he was out in front a bit. Fouls it down the left field line. What a ball game. Robbie Ray, Eli Morgan pitched a heck of a game. Both starters going 6 innings. Robbie Ray with just 4 strikeouts, but he pitched out of a jam and kept it a 2-run inning in the 3rd, and the Blue Jays tied it up in the 6th off of Morgan. Boy, that's a hard sinking fastball at 96 that missed down and away.
From a little crossfire action from the pitcher, a little bit of 3/4 low angle. Tough to get the ball in the air against this guy.
There's a base hit to left field. 2 hops to Harold Ramirez. A 1-out single for Semien. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Another good ball game. The Blue Jays are trying to make it 4 in a row. Do you think Vladdy Guerrero had that jacket made to his size? Because he's going to wear it more than anybody else. Here's Bo Bichette. Bouncing ball up the middle. Rosario to second for 1. Back to first. In time, a delayed call. They were making sure that Miller held onto it. It was in the dirt. Bo Bichette bounces into an inning-ending double play. We'll go to the 9th. It's a 2-2 game. Tickets are still available for this homestand at Rogers Center. Game 2 of the split doubleheader versus the Boston Red Sox at 7:07 p.m. on August 7th are on sale now. Go to BlueJays.com/ticket and get yours today. Boy, what a welcome sight that is, Pat. That brings back great memories, huh? The Edge Walk, and we can look at the CN Tower next to the Rogers Center.
Buck, it brings back memories. I don't know if I want to call them great just yet. They are some memories. Something else. Jordan Romano trying to make some memories right here. 37 games this year. He needs a shutdown inning. See if Blue Jays can walk him off. He has been outstanding this season. 5 holds, 4 wins, 9 saves out of the bullpen already for the Blue Jays. One of those saves was against Cleveland earlier this season. He last pitched in Kansas City in that Kansas City series, picked up a save, gave up a run in that one. He says, I got to slow everything down. When I'm slowing everything down, I'm under control. I can throw more strikes.
Adam Simber, Joaquim Soria, now Jordan Romano. And he misses with that first pitch, a hard slider down and away. Bottom third of the Indians lineup, as Owen Miller, Austin Hedges, and Ernie Clement are scheduled. Fastball missed inside. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Both teams really don't have an awful lot of options as far as pinch hitting or making a lot of changes late in the game. They both have just 3 extra men on their roster. 3 men on the bench. Upstairs, 3-0 now. Romano falling behind Miller. Miller has walked, lined out, and struck out. There's a strike. He pours it in there with the fastball. It's 3-1.
Yeah, I talked about it earlier today. The bottom of this lineup for the Cleveland Indians. Miller has 1 home run, Hedges 5, Clement 0. So this is where you want to just pour that fastball in there and challenge them. Hopefully keep it in the big part of the ballpark, and it's just a fly ball to center field. Jordan obviously has got that type of fastball. Big fastball, big breaking ball. You can challenge these guys with that fastball here.
You get a chance not to have to face the top of the order again if you retire the side in order. And he missed. He threw him a breaking ball. The number 7 hitter in a 2-2 game here in the 9th, and walked him. A leadoff walk.
Oh, that's what I mean right there. You want to throw the pitch that you can command and you can control. So now they got their work cut out for them. We'll see how DeMarlo Hale, who is the acting manager of the Indians, plays this. He has been very loose and very aggressive today, trying to get those runners around the bases.
They have started their runners on several occasions. Now they're bunting, and Hedges bunts it foul. Cleveland has 3 stolen bases. DeMarlo started the runner in the 1st inning and stayed out of a double play. And like you said earlier, Pat, what do they have to lose? They come into this game at a 500 record, 9 games back in the Central. They're liable to do anything. Miller at first, not running, squares to bunt again, bunts it back to the mound. It's a good bunt. Romano's throw is right to Guerrero, but Hedges moves the go-ahead base runner into scoring position at second.
Yeah, you take advantage of that leadoff walk. You bunt him into scoring position. Now maybe you can pinch hit if you want. Bring in a left. They've got a couple of lefties on that bench. Try to find the matchups that you want to have, and they will send a pinch hitter up there. And he is left-handed.
Going to be Bobby Bradley coming off the bench to pinch hit in this situation. So they take advantage of the leadoff walk, use the sacrifice bunt, and now Bradley hitting .201 for the season. He's got a little pop. Pete Walker quickly out to the mound to talk Bradley with the battery, Romano and Kirk. This guy's got 11 home runs in just 134 at-bats. So it's interesting now that DeMarlo Hale sends Bradley up there. He is 2 for 2 as a pinch hitter. So he's coming up there with some confidence.
He gets a little bit better with runners in scoring position. And lefty, I was watching him in BP. I mean, he was cranking him. Doesn't have the big average, but he does have some pop in that bat.
Goes after that first pitch, and that's what you want as a pinch hitter. Go up there hacking. He got a slider and fouls it off. Bradley is a 3rd rounder from 2014, drafted by the Indians. Born in Chicago, grew up in Mississippi, and he's just 25 years old. He got into a few games back in 2019. Oh, 0-1. There's a hard slider downstairs for a ball. It's 1-1.
And the shadows are starting to play some games against these hitters right now too. The pitcher is standing in the shade, and the batter is squinting his eyes. He is in the sunlight. It's going to be tough to pick that breaking ball up when it gets to home plate.
Another slider missed down and in. Bradley laid off. He wouldn't chase. Bobby Bradley pinch hitting for the second baseman, Eric Clement. Fastball at 100 right on the inside corner, a called strike.
Well, that's still the best pitch. You got a possession of 100 miles an hour. Throw it again. You might break his bat.
There it is, right back to it. 100-mile-an-hour swing and a miss, fastball strikeout. Good job by Romano as he blew the pinch hitter away with a good heater.
Those last two pitches suggest that batter didn't see it because, one, it's 100 miles an hour and it's dark, and then it got light. You saw it right when it crossed into the sunlight, making it tough to pick up. And Jordan just blew that one by him for the second out.
Back to the top of the order. Miles Straw has a single and a double. He's 2 for 4. First pitch swinging, chases that hard slider. Straw is 0 for 1 against Romano prior to this at bat. Ninth inning, 2-2 game. Runner in second base. Slider, good job by Kirk to get out there. 2-2 game, as we mentioned, as Emmanuel Clase on the left, Brian Shaw on the right. Clase, what I would imagine will come in should the Indians take the lead here. High fastball missed upstairs, 2-1 now.
The outfield is really playing Straw the other way. Got not a ton of power, just 3 home runs, so you don't have to play that deep. But George Springer is in right center. Randall Grichuk is over and right. You don't have to play that deep also. If he gets a base hit in the outfield, you got to give yourself a chance to get that runner at the plate.
That slider backed up. Looked like it might have been close to the inside corner. It didn't break a lot, but it's called a ball. It's now 3-1. Straw's a very good fastball hitter as this slider went around the inside corner. He threw that slider, very patient with that, threw it for a strike. Didn't try to overthrow it, dropped it in there. 3-2 now.
That's what he says. I got to keep reminding myself to slow down. And when I do that, I stay in my delivery. Threw him that 3-1 slider because you're right. He's a good fastball hitter.
Line drive to right, and Randall makes the catch. What a break by Randall Grichuk. He broke on contact and makes a sliding catch to take a hit away from Miles Straw. Romano leaves a runner in scoring position, and we will go to the ninth. Bottom of the ninth in a 2-2 game. Randall Grichuk's had quite a game in the field. He threw out a runner at home, and now he saves a run for Jordan Romano. It's been a terrific beginning to a 4-game series. It'll continue tomorrow night with Hyunjin Ryu going to the mound against Zach Plesac, a right-hander for Cleveland. It all starts at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. That's Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddle in the pregame show, and Ryu will be looking for his 11th win of the season. He is 10-5, and he matched up against Eli Morgan. And how about Alek Manoah? The rookie is very comfortable with the big leagues. He's got his rally cap on, and he says, you know, Ross, let me show you how to do this. This is a rally cap. We did it a lot in college, and I know it works in the big leagues too. So let's turn your hat around, and here, we need a rally cap in the ninth.
If they're going to rally, they're going to have to rally against a new pitcher. That is Brian Shaw. And I'll tell you what, Brian Shaw throws a little bit of everything. He has had a really nice career, spent some time with the Indians, then was traded away. Now he is back, signed as a free agent, doing it again. More strikeouts than innings pitched.
A lot of sliders from Bryan Shaw. He began his career with the Arizona Diamondbacks and then really pitched well for Cleveland over 6 seasons. He was 24 and 27, but a big part of their championship team. Two and 0. Fouled back. Boy, it's tough right now for hitters, isn't it, Pat, with the shadows?
Absolutely. Bobby Bradley pinched hit, stays in the ball game over at first base, and Owen Miller will shift over to second base. Can play both of those positions. That's the defensive changes, but you're right, this is a tough time to hit. Just trying to see the ball right now as you battle in there.
Swinging a drive to the alley. Maestraw's got great speed, and he runs it down right on the warning track. We told you what a terrific defender Straw is, and he showed his skills right there. Teoscar hit it hard to the opposite power alley, and Straw ran it down with a sliding catch.
Well, that's why they wanted to improve their defense in the outfield, and it starts in center field with some speed. This gets by him. It's 2, maybe 3. He's actually playing Teoscar to right center field, but he got a great jump. It got a great read on that ball. Knew exactly where that thing was going to come down. Catches it. Bryan Shaw likes that. That looked like to be dangerous, but it just turns into a long out.
Bryan Shaw had a terrific postseason against the Blue Jays in 2016 in the ALCS. He pitched in 4 of those games and picked up 2 of the wins. And you remember that great bullpen they had. It was nearly unhittable. Andrew Miller was down there. Bryan Shaw was a big part of it. They had a terrific bullpen and just really slammed the door on the Blue Jays.
Yeah, a lot of righties that negated all the power that the Blue Jays had. And Shaw's one of those guys who can throw every day if you want him to.
Rondo fouls off that pitch. He's behind 1-2. Reese McGuire's got to get into the act with the rally caps. Vladdy Guerrero looks like he is poised to celebrate. 2-2 ball game. Swing and a miss. A good breaking ball from Shaw. Grichuk strikes out. 2 down.
He doesn't throw many pitches straight. Told you he'll throw a little bit of everything. Curveball, slider, cutter. His fastball moves, his changeup moves. That breaking ball down and away does the trick. Out number 2.
Santiago Espinal will be the last hope for the Blue Jays here in regulation. And he takes a high pitch for a ball. The Indians have an interesting man who will start at second base in Miles Straw. He made the last out of the 9th inning, so he would be the runner at second base. And he's got the best speed on their team. There's a slider for a strike. It's 1-1. Two-two ball game. 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 9th. Keith Walker talking to the bullpen. A high cutter up at 92 miles an hour, top of the zone, cut on and missed. Espinal is 0 for 3 so far. Blue Jays 2 runs on 6 hits. In the dirt, down and away for a ball. Brad Hand, the former Indian, loosening up. Getting ready for the top of the 10th should there be extra innings. Boy, everybody thought that was a strike, including Espinal. Looked like a good pitch. We talk about how tough it is to see. It's tough for the umpires, too.
Yeah, look
Slider
at
on the
that ball
outside
when
corner.
it comes in. Yeah, it looked like it might have got the corner. So Espinal has another crack at him.
And he walked him. A 3-2 breaking ball, and Shaw walks Espinal. A 2-out walk here in this 2-2 game. Alejandro Kirk, the catcher. He had a double to left field back in the 5th inning. That was off the starter, Eli Morgan. He has struck out in his other 2 plate appearances. He's 1 for 3 this afternoon. A cutter in there for a strike. Might you gamble with Espinal here? Try to steal a base and get him into scoring position?
You know, it might not be a bad idea because if he's thrown out, he would be the runner at second base next inning. But you can start them if they're in a count that's favorable, but 0-2 is not it. You know, if he makes the last out here, I'm talking about Kirk, then Buck, then he would be the runner to start next inning. I guess you could always pinch run for him, but you said it earlier. Each of these teams only have 3 players on the bench. There's not a lot of maneuvering you can do.
0-2. Cut on and missed. He chased a high cutter and strikes out. Shaw leaves a base runner at first base. We will go to the 10th. Extra innings in this 2-2 game. Brad Hand coming out of the... It's Monday afternoon. After a 3-game sweep of the Royals, the Blue Jays have made it interesting in the AL wild card race. Boston has a 3-game cushion over Oakland, and then the Yankees are 2.5 back of Oakland for the second wild card spot. The Blue Jays 3.5, tied with the Seattle Mariners. Now, the Blue Jays will have Boston here over the weekend in a 4-game series over 3 days. So, Pat, it's only August 2nd, but these games have more and more importance as you're running out of games, as the schedule's dwindling down.
Boy, is that true. And right after Seattle is Cleveland, so you'd like to, put a little distance between them, put a little bit more pressure on the guys ahead of you. The Blue Jays are going to face all of those teams ahead of them in that wild card race, and these games are important. So you got to throw your best pitchers out there now and try and win these tough games. Brad Hand will pitch in this one now. He becomes the 4th reliever out of the bullpen. He threw in the KC series that they just finished, an unearned run in 1 inning. That was on Friday. I got a chance here. He's got to go through 2, 3, 4.
That ball goes back to the backstop, and Straw's going to go over to third, and 1 pitch, and now they have the base runner at third with nobody out. Alejandro Kirk kind of waved at that ball and went right under his glove, and Straw with great speed moves up. It has scored a wild pitch, and just like
we talk about how hard it is to see, to hit, it's got to be hard to catch also. That was a blockable ball, but it just skips by him, and now the infield has to come in for sure.
And there's a base hit to left field. Rosario gives the Indians the lead with his 3rd hit of the afternoon. Miles Straw comes in to score, as Rosario has had a terrific day at the plate.
The tough top of this lineup has been tough, that is for sure. Straw, wild pitched over to third base. He can now jog in as that ball gets by Simeon into the outfield. As a hitter, you'd love to see that infield in. Your eyes just get bigger, and that RBI gets a little bit easier.
And throw to first base as Rosario had a couple of stolen bases earlier in this game. He stole a base into third and stole a base and went to third in the 5th on a throwing error by Kirk. Miles Straw also has a stolen base. The Indians are 3 for 3 in that category. Big breaking ball in there for a strike. Hand, of course, playing with the Indians as he was traded from San Diego to Cleveland. Spent parts of 3 seasons with Cleveland. Had 58 saves in those 3 years. He went around as Ramirez. He hasn't had a very good day at the plate, but he's always dangerous. He is quickly behind 0-2. Charlie Montoyo has seen the bolstered bullpen pitch very effectively here over the course of the weekend and here into the Monday afternoon game. Breaking ball is bounced in the dirt. Ramirez is 1 for 4 today. An infield hit his first time up, hit a ground ball to third and beat it out. Cleveland has taken the lead here in the top of the 10th. An RBI single by Ahmed Rosario. The throw to first base, and Rosario is back easily. Rosario with 2 more stolen bases. He is 11 for 11 in steals this season. Swinging a long drive to left field. And this ball is a fair ball. Hit off the second deck, and Jose Ramirez has his second hit. It's a 2-run home run here in the 10th. His 23rd home run of the season. And Cleveland has built their lead to 5-2.
Oh, he has made a habit of doing that, hitting late home runs against the Blue Jays in his career. He faces his former teammate Brad Hand, and he didn't look good the first couple of pitches when he threw him those breaking balls, but once he hung something up there, Ramirez hits it off the foul pole. Up and in, and Jose gets to that one. He's able to keep it fair down the left field line for a 2-run homer.
It's his first home run here at Rogers Center. It was high and deep down the left field line and hits that foul netting. A long home run, and it's 5-2 Cleveland. And Reyes takes a strike. It's 1-1. Foul back out of play. Rafael Dolis was up earlier in the game. He was up in the 6th inning and then sat down as Adam Simber came in when Blue Jays tied it up in the bottom of the 6th. Breaking ball missed outside. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 10th, it'll be Cameron Biggio, the number 9 hitter, then Springer and Guerrero for the Blue Jays. Breaking ball fouled out of play over the Indians' dugout. Victor Rodriguez, a hitting coach for the Indians, with a smile on his face, the way the Indians have come back here in the 10th. Jose Ramirez with his 23rd home run of the season. Breaking ball called, strike 3. That breaking ball caught the outside corner. That's the first out here in the 10th inning.
Yeah, it's so tough to start an inning with the runner at second base. You feel like you have to be perfect. The wild pitch set that up with that runner at third base with nobody out, infield in, then base hit, home run. Now you're just trying to stop the bleeding right here and hope your offense can score you some runs in the bottom of the inning. That's a good start right there, that backdoor breaking ball.
And a swing and a miss from Harold Ramirez. He went after the breaking ball and missed it. It's 0-1. High fastball, 95 upstairs for a ball. It's 1 strike to Ramirez. The Indians have 5 runs on 9 hits. The Blue Jays 2 runs on 6 hits. The Blue Jays have committed 2 errors in the ball game. Bouncing ball, big hop for Semien. It's short. In time, 2 down. Neither of the Blue Jays errors factor into the scoring as they were both stranded after the error. Oscar Mercado, he drove in a run back in the 3rd inning. Just his 6th RBI of the season. He's 1 for 4 on the afternoon. Rosario and Ramirez coming up big for Cleveland here in the 10th. First pitch strike from Brad Hand. That's a high slider that missed upstairs. It's a ball and a strike.
Bichette doing his homework to try to figure out if he can get an at-bat, and if he does, who he would probably face, which would be Clase, their closer, who is up.
There's a drive to right field. Grichuk is back a little bit, makes the catch. The inning is over, but a big inning for Cleveland. They scored 3 runs on 2 hits, a 2-run home run by Ramirez. Cavan Biggio will lead things off for the Jays, then back to the top of the order. Springer and Vladdy Guerrero, they have both had big days, 2 hits apiece. Cleveland had an early lead, 2-0 in the 3rd, and then Vladdy Guerrero hit a 2-run home run in the 6th. And now in extra innings, Cleveland has scored 3 runs. An RBI base hit by Ahmed Rosario, a 2-run home run by Jose Ramirez, and the Blue Jays got some catch-up to do against a hard-throwing right-hander, Armando Clase.
Clase is the closer with a big arm, a triple-digits fastball that he has, a little cutter. They got him from the Texas Rangers. They put him in the bullpen. They've got a deep bullpen, the Cleveland Indians. And this is another one of those hard throwers. Pretty good numbers all the way around for him. So he will try and lock it down with a runner, a pinch runner, starting out at second base.
Reese McGuire will take over as a pinch runner. He's running for Alejandro Kirk. And at this point, there's really nobody Reese would pinch hit for. Yes, you would pinch hit until you get down into this spot in the order. As Biggio, a left-hander, you're going to lead him off, and then there's nobody in the top of the lineup you're going to pinch hit for, just because of what they are as hitters. So McGuire comes in, gives you a little more speed at second base, running for Alejandro Kirk. The first pitch is in there for a strike at 99. He is 0 for 2 with a walk. He walked his last time up. That was in the 7th inning. Blue Jays get a base runner on here, and they will quickly have the tying run at the plate. That ball is boxed up by Hedges, and McGuire wasn't sure how far away from home it was, and obviously down by 3. You don't take any chances.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Better safe than sorry. Clase's got a cutter that is nasty, and that one just really got in on Hedges, who's a good catcher. He's had a good game behind the plate, but that one just handcuffed him. It's hard and it's moving. He's lucky he didn't take that one on the wrist. But you're right, the base runner, you're down by 3. You don't want to be running into any outs anywhere.
Way upstairs as Clase lost the grip on that ball. Another cutter that just got away from him. It's 2 balls and a strike. And Blue Jays might have the right guy at the plate as far as a guy wanting to get on base, as Cavan has a good eye. That one wasn't close. DeMarlo Hale, acting manager, has gone to their closer, Emmanuel Clase. Line drive to the shortstop as Cavan got jammed, and that ball went right to the shortstop, Rosario. So McGuire stays put at second.
Clase has been known. He's blown a couple of saves today. That cutter got in on his hands, and Cavan just couldn't pull his hands in quick enough and get the barrel of the bat on it. So a soft liner right to the shortstop. Need to get another runner on base before a home run hitter comes up.
Fastball down and away at 99. Clase is 13 for 17 in staves. Karinchak, who's also saved games, he's 11 for 14, so they have kind of split duties, and Clase is the guy getting the opportunity here this afternoon. Karinchak had a good inning of work in the 7th. 1-0 to Springer. Called strike. That's a lively fastball. A lot of late life on it. Caught the inside corner.
Yeah, with movement. Again, it's a cutter, and you can pretty much bank that he's going to throw that thing pretty much every time. So just go up there and sit on it if you have to. Not too many tricks from this young man's arm. He's got an electric fastball with movement.
Ground ball to third. Ramirez gathers and fires. 2 down. Bobby Bradley came into the game as a pinch hitter, took over at first base. The Springer's retired, thrown out by Ramirez. And now Vladdy Guerrero. Vladdy has 2 more hits this afternoon, including a game-tying 2-run home run in the 6th. He can't tie it up here in the 10th. He needs to get on base and keep the inning going. Marcus Semien would love a chance here in the 10th inning. Marcus is 1 for 4 so far today. Blue Jays have just 6 hits all afternoon. 101 for ball 1. Downstairs, another cutter with that explosive late movement. It's off the plate. Another 100-mile-an-hour pitch, but it moved off the outside edge. It's 2 balls and no strikes.
The Indians got Clase from Texas in the Corey Kluber trade. He's just 23 years old. He's got a bright future ahead of him. When you throw like that with that kind of movement, if you can harness it like he has been able to, he's going to close a lot of games for this team.
Guerrero with a 2-0 count. Right back to the mound, and this should do it. Clase goes to first, and that's the ball game. The Cleveland Indians win the opener of this 4-game series 5-2. They score 3 runs in the top of the 10th to take game 1.
Blue Jays had a lot of momentum coming into this game. They had Robbie Ray on the hill. They were within striking distance, it seemed like, all day. But they left 7 runners on base, could only get 6 hits against a very good pitching staff. And the big blow by Jose Ramirez really blew that one over as the Jays lose the first of 4 big games. I'll have another shot at them tomorrow.
Top 3 hitters in the lineup for Cleveland went 7 for 14. Thanks for watching, folks. Have a great rest of your afternoon. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie and Joe.
See that very often? No, but this is a credit to a pitcher who really mixed his pitches well today. Credit to the catcher behind the plate, putting the fingers down. He cleared it. If you just watch hitters, never mind watching pitches, watch the hitters. And he had Blue Jays hitters a little baffled today.
Yes, he did. And so, second game of this 4-game series comes your way tomorrow night here at the Rogers Center with Hyunjin Ryu taking the hill for the Blue Jays. Blue Jays Central will come your way at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. Morgan was tremendous until, of course, the 6th when Guerrero does the things that he does best. A 2-run shot tied the game his 34th, but Cleveland came back with 3 in the 10th. Thanks for watching. Time for Olympic Primetime.